farm in Palapala in 2020. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
10 days ago, Speaker Toka Didiza expressed concern about a fit and proper requirement for MPs serving on an impeachment committee and sent it back to the Rules Subcommittee to refine the proposal and come up with a definition. However, after a more detailed presentation today, Didiza was still not satisfied, saying all the shortcomings had not been addressed.
It will still remain subjective. It also doesn't deal with the issue of dispute resolution mechanism.
With the impeachment committee already established and the proposed rule not having a retrospective impact, Didiza said there was no need to rush its inclusion. But the DA's Glenys Breitenbach implored Didiza to reconsider, saying the process of impeaching a president required a higher bar for MPs.
It's a big job. It's a very important committee. That the members who serve on that need not necessarily be fit and proper. I find that deeply disconcerting.
The MK and EFF have welcomed Didiza's decision to veto the proposal, arguing such a rule would be unconstitutional. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Anti-illegal migration group March and March has petitioned Parliament, calling on the National Assembly to also investigate the current state of immigration control. The organisation has cited the abuse of the asylum system as one of the reasons the issue needs Parliament's intervention. The petition by the group comes as countries continue with the voluntary repatriation of its citizens following demonstrations in parts of South Africa. Babalondenze reports.
The March and March organization has been holding marches and protests in various provinces for more than 6 months, mobilizing thousands of people. The group has also set illegal foreigners in the country a deadline of June 30th to leave the country. In its latest move, the group has taken its fight to Parliament to petition the Assembly to also investigate the current state of immigration control, border management, weak enforcement of bylaws, and the lack of compliance with the labor laws. International Relations Committee Chairperson Suprama Umapilo called on MPs not to phrase the current situation as xenophobic.
I'll just request honorable members not to use the word xenophobia when we debate these matters of tensions and frictions, which are a consequence of challenges around immigration.
Mahumapelo says negative perceptions about South Africa internationally are having an adverse effect on the country's investment potential. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News.
Suspended KZN Hawks boss Leseja Senona has told the Madlanga Commission that more police officers knew about the storage of a large consignment of drugs which was later stolen from the Port Shepstone Hawks office. Senona has returned to the Madlanga Commission today following his first appearance in January. During testimonies by other witnesses, Senona has been placed at the centre of the drug theft, something that he has denied. Khomotso Modise reports.
When high-ranking Hawks officer Campbell Newswa testified at the Madlanga Commission this week, he told the Commission that only General Leseja Senona had the keys to the strong room of the Hawks Port Shepstone office. He also said that he was skeptical when he heard the large consignment of cocaine had been stolen from the room. But today, Senona has testified about an inspection from Hawks officers from the head office who visited the Port Shepstone office and also knew about the stored drugs.
Just so that I understand, is your point that other people came to know about the drugs and the fact that they were stored
exactly, Commissioner. Absolutely true. And how they happen to know, I do not know them.
Senona's testimony continues this afternoon. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Search operations for 4 missing people are continuing along the Vaal River in the Northern Cape today. This after a makeshift boat carrying about 20 farm workers capsized yesterday. It's understood 6 people drowned during that incident. Officers have so far recovered the bodies of 2 men with the search for the remaining 4 underway. Police spokesperson Molefe Shimane says 14 people survived the incident and were treated at the local hospital.
At approximately 6:30 in the morning, police in Douglas received a report regarding a makeshift boat that was allegedly ferrying people across the Vaal River from Vala's farm to Willie Rivier farm. It was reported that several occupants fell into the water.
And the United States is investigating pharmaceutical pricing policies and other practices in Germany. The probe comes under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, which authorizes the President and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative to take retaliatory action against foreign countries that engage in unfair trade practices. The investigation comes after the German Health Ministry unveiled plans in April for a wide-ranging overhaul of the country's healthcare system. This includes lowering the prices for public insurers that they pay for medicine in a bid to rein in public spending. AFP is reporting that the U.S. Trade Envoy's office will receive comments and hold a hearing in September as part of the investigation. Gold is trading at $4,148.56 an ounce. The rand is at 16.49 to the dollar, 21.81 to the pound, 18.90 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.90 a barrel.
In Protea Lane, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 in Southgate heading into Diepkloof. There is an accident seen on the N12 westbound before the Diepkloof interchange, slowing down traffic all the way from Xavier Road, and in Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic a bit sluggish on Eskiam Patlele between Van der Hof and the R80.
In your sport, Debo Mogwena's penalty keeps Bafana's World Cup hopes alive. Arsenal to start their Premier League title defence against promoted Coventry, and the Bulls hope fourth time's a charm in the United Rugby Championship final.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 16 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. National Assembly Speaker Togo Didiza has rejected a proposal to include a fit and proper requirement for MPs to serve on Parliament's impeachment committee.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie, walk the talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's 9 minutes past 3 on Friday, the 19th of June. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. Why is there so much chaos and flouting of procedure when the police seize huge consignments of drugs? The Madlanga Commission's sustained focus on this over the past few weeks is reaching something of an inflection point with the questioning today of KZN Hawkshead General Lisicha Sinona. He's been named by a number of other witnesses in regard to drugs stolen from Port Shepstone. Khumotso Modise will join us with an update on that. With local government elections drawing closer, the Independent Electoral Commission is pushing hard on voter registration this weekend. What are their plans? Will they work? We'll talk about that after 4. On Fridays, we always spend time with someone who's in the news and get to know them better. We ask them to choose a song, a book, and a dish and tell stories around each of their choices. Our guest today has been at the center of some rather big news stories lately.
The majority of the intercepted individuals were Basotho nationals, followed by Mozambicans, Zimbabweans, Swati nationals, Malawians, as well as the Ethiopians. And this can be attributed to the deterrent effect of enhanced enforcement measures, including the deployment of drones, the continued arresting of the facilitators, the destruction of the makeshift boats, and the removal of the anchors and erstwhile ropes used to facilitate illegal crossings or migration, particularly along the Limpopo as well as the Caledon rivers.
Dr. Mike Masiapato is head of the Border Management Authority. He's with us at 20 to 6. And at 10 to 5, we have our other regular Friday feature, Randall's One Song. Randall will have a unique take, I'm sure, on the life, music and legacy of Abdullah Ibrahim, who passed away this weekend. He joins us for that at 10 to 5. The oil share is under serious pressure again today on every front. It has lost 1,600 points, with the resource index in particularly deep water. Goldfields has lost 9.6%. Platinum producer Valterra down by 7%. Northam has lost 6.3%. Mining in the same sector. Bucking all the pessimism around minerals, though, Alphamin up by 10.8%. Rainet has gained 5.6%, Datatec is up by 5.1%, and Aspen has gained 4.2%. So not quite all doom and gloom, but not great for the rand today. Currently trading at 16 rand 47 against the dollar. That's 4 cents weaker than this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 18 rand 81, down by 7 cents, and 21 rand 78 will get you a pound. That's a 6 cent loss by the rand against sterling. The oil price is up by 23 cents. Brent crude currently trading at 80 rand and 3 cents a barrel. Stephen Critters joins us with all the market news at 25 past 4. We'll have sport with Tolakele Mganga. Karabo Chale is with us in a moment with the traffic news. And Bali Dlamini, we heard her latest news a little while back. She's back with an update at 3:30. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live, and if it's happening in 702 land, you will get to hear about it here first. Of course, if there are some things we're missing, stories we don't even know about, well, please do get in touch on 072 702 1702 or simply give us a ring on 011 883 0702. It's 13 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So with the weekend drawing closer, a lot of you, in fact, a couple of people I spoke to, I said, what are you doing this weekend? They said, we are having a braai. The thing is, what does having a braai actually mean? It's a little more complicated than you might think.
Now, if you ask a bunch of braai masters which fuel source they prefer cooking with, be it charcoal, briquettes, firewood or gas, you're going to get a bunch of different answers. Is one better than the other? I thought it best to discuss the differences and see a few things such as how long does it take the fire to get ready? How long have we got usable heat?
Okay, so that was something that was out on the internet from builders. We were asking because somebody was saying, no, we're going to have a braai. And then I said, well, are you going to do it on gas? And if you do, does a braai on a gas fire still count as a braai? And if you're going to insist, no, there got to be flames involved, does charcoal count? Or do you have to burn down parts of trees yourself and then reduce them to charcoal in the cooking coil? So some people really have no strong views on this. Some people are absolutely passionate. So where do you fall, Jonathan Fairburn? Is a braai on a gas fire a braai? Or is it just meat cooked on a gas fire?
It's a nice cooking apparatus, a gas braai.
Yes.
Purely used for convenience. That's it. And I wouldn't call it a proper braai. Proper braai has to be with wood, but obviously that takes time, and there's a ritual, building the logs, and also depending on what wood you're using, local garage wood is not appropriate for a braai.
Yes.
So yeah, I would always go for a wood if possible and time allows.
So the key part of a braai, Karabo Chali, is that somebody at some point throughout the entire process must be getting smoke in their eyes.
Yes.
So could you have a gas braai, but then you maybe get a kid to walk around with burning newspaper and chooses different uncles to torment? I mean, would that at least compensate?
I think
that's cheating. Okay.
I think if you're using gas, you're just cooking outside. It's not a proper braai, because a braai is a whole experience. Jonas says it takes time. That's the whole point, because you're there trying to start the fire, which takes a whole lot of skill, and I struggle a lot. So usually I use wood, but then when I'm struggling, I'll throw in some charcoal and fire starters, which I always think it's not the real way to start a fire. But my madam is always good with starting fires with wood, and then waiting for the fire to burn, watching it, having a cold beer while you watch the fire and staring and contemplating about life and chatting to your mates, and then the fire is all ready. Put on the meat when the fire is ready, and then it's a whole experience. That smell of the smoke, and the whole neighborhood is knowing that Karabo is having a braai.
And they just happen to pop in to see how you're doing.
Yeah, with their scuffed in.
There's a downside. Tell me, while the fire's going, if you're the host, can other people come and poke things and put logs on? You're cool with that?
Yes, you're cool with that. As long as the fire's going, anybody who wants to see the fires getting ready as soon as possible, then
can they flip the boards, especially if they do it earlier than you would?
If I'm the braai master, nobody else touches the meat.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got one fork and then something else
to chase them away,
cattle prod. So I'd like to hear from you then. If you're having a braai, when you say you're having a braai, is there always burning of material involved, or do you think a braai on a gas fire counts? And if it's going to be smoke and flames, is charcoal allowed, or is it only a proper braai if there are logs, wood on the fire? Give us your call on that on 011 8830 702, 17 minutes past 3.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
So we had a lot of early traffic yesterday, people trying to get back for the football, but Friday as well tends to be a little dialing forward of the rush hour. Is that what we're seeing right now, Karabo? It's still too early for even that.
Well, it is a typical Friday, so things tend to get a bit busy earlier. So at this stage, already getting into Soweto Protea Glen, there's already slow-moving traffic on the N12 westbound. This is between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 Devland, heading into Eldorado Park. Also, traffic a bit sluggish. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12 in Hermanstad, Pretoria. Traffic also a bit slow, leaving the Pretoria CBD. This is between Van der Hof and the R80. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
South Africa, your vote starts with registration.
Register to vote.
This Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June. Make sure you're registered to vote or check that your voter registration details are up to date.
To register where they ordinarily reside.
Whether you're registering for the first time or confirming your voting status, visit elections.org.za for everything you need to know. And stay informed with 702, Cape Talk and EWN for the latest updates, analysis, and developments throughout the registration weekend. Register, check, be counted.
The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday, 26 July. Babize bonke. But why don't you get a taste of what Walk the Talk would actually be like? This Sunday, Jozi My Jozi is having another Main Street Sunday, taking over Marshalltown and flipping the script on how Jozi moves. One whole street in the heart of the city will be closed to cars, just people, vibes, and that Main Street magic. 702 Soulful Sunday with Kenny and Pushaza will also be there, broadcasting live from Main Street Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So do this. Go to jozimyjozi.com for all the details and grab your free tickets. And let's show the city what happens when the streets belong to the people. And what's more, you can also register for Walk the Talk at Main Street Sundays or enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Joburg.
Evolution doesn't wait. Introducing the Chang'an Uni S. Unexpected, unmistakable, uncompromising. Engineered to a higher standard, unlike anything in its class. Unsurprising, really, from China's oldest automaker. Trusted by 30 million drivers worldwide. And at $4,999 per month, it's an unbeatable offer too. Chang'an Finance, T's and C's apply. Visit chang'anmotors.co.za for more. The Chang'an Uni S.
Chang'an, driven to evolve.
That's Thabo, before he got naked. When Thabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best. Hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Thabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Thabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park Stadium this year. Lions fans, get ready. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership package to watch the Springboks versus England and the All Blacks. Or from just 950 Rand, get your Lions-only package and unlock access to every Lions match at Ellis Park. All packages include the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Memberships are available now at Ticket Pro or through our stadium ticket office. Visit lionsrugby.co.za for package options. Own the season and get behind your team.
This Father's Day weekend, put your driving skills to the test at Hyde Park Corner with the Ferrari Simulator Challenge, brought to you by Zebra Square Automobile and Pablo Clark Racing. Set your fastest lap, climb the leaderboard, and stand a chance to win incredible prizes, including a Pablo Clark Racing experience worth 20,000 Rand and a 10,000 Rand Hyde Park Corner gift card. Entry is 100 Rand per attempt, and the action takes place at Hyde Park Centre Court from Friday to Sunday. Terms and conditions apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
22 minutes past 3 now. As we build up to the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on the 26th of July, we're also telling you something about the various partners who not only are going to be walking with us on the day, but are involved in making sure that this is the success we expect it to be. One of those companies is ABSA, and to talk about this, we're joined by Christine Wu, who is co-chief executive of Personal and Private Banking. Christine, welcome. It's great to have you with us. Before we talk walk the talk, I want to talk about ABSA and the fact that you guys have been in the southeast downtown part of Johannesburg for absolute ages. People who are heading southwards on Moy Street will see you if you're moving up Market or Marshall. There's ABSA everywhere you look in that part of Joburg. What made ABSA decide to stay there? It must have been more than just the fact that you'd invested in brick and mortar.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. So first of all, we decided to stay. First of all, it's because Joburg is just such a special place for us. And we've also been consistently partnering with the city in terms of bringing back the energy. So we've actually, invested in more than 10 million Rand in rejuvenating the Nelson Mandela Bridge. We've installed more than 500 solar lights, and we've also broadened the definition of ABSA precinct, so to make the area safe and clean for our colleagues, because it's a very important part of our value proposition. And I've said this before, that as an important part of the South African economy, as an important part of the retail banking ecosystem, we can't be divorced from the problems our customers have.
Yeah. So let's talk walk the talk then. Obviously, when 702 and Jozi My Jozi got in touch with you, it wasn't a case of we send you a WhatsApp and you send us a thumb emoji. There was a lot of conversation. What made you say, yes, let's do walk the talk, let's be involved? And what in particular are you hoping to get out of it?
So personally, I'm very, very excited about 702 bringing the format back into the Joburg CBD to be able to walk, as young people say, the OG of walk the talk. And for me, it's also a very important opportunity to showcase the great work that 702, Jozi My Jozi and ABSA collectively doing in terms of rejuvenating the city.
So we're going to be walking, but you as ABSA are, participating, but also presenting and representing and telling people a little bit about yourself. I know you want to keep some surprises, but what can we expect?
Well, let me first, use the opportunity to announce that ABSA will be giving away a brand new Mazda. Oh. We will be announcing the winner at the talk. So I think that's really, really exciting. So it's very easy to qualify. Just download the ABSA app, and actually transact between, now and 20th of July, and you will qualify. So we'll make the announcement at the walk, and everyone, I can see your name on the car. Do that during the break. Download the ABSA app.
Yeah, absolutely. So you arrive on foot and drive home, possibly in a brand new car. Just finally, let's go back to where we started, Christine, and just get a final thought from you. The inner city and its rejuvenation is not just sentimental, as I understand it. You've got a very clear sense of economic purpose for why you're investing with us. With that, tell us why it is a priority in economic terms.
So, economically, investing in Joburg CBD, it is also about the employee value proposition, because
Right.
we've still got thousands of colleagues that goes into the city. And as part of our purpose, we talk about unlocking Africa's possibilities. And you can't do that without first understanding the area you're in and
Right.
unlocking Joburg CBD's possibility. And through the campaign, working with Josie Majosi, through the Babiza Bonke initiative, you can see there are so many inspirational stories that's happening in the area. So for us, it's about creating that foundation for human dignity
Right.
through safety and cleanliness, and we feel that if we do that, then entrepreneurship will flourish. And it's an experiment in how we bring that possibilities to Johannesburg, to Gauteng, to South Africa, and to rest of Africa.
Thank you so much, first of all, for the interview. Thank you so much, multiplied by many factors, for the partnership. We're delighted to be working with ABSA on the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Looking forward to July the 26th.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Okay, let's focus our attention now on the Houses of Parliament, specifically that Section 89 Impeachment Committee. There was a proposal before it. Speaker of the House, Togo Dudiza, has ruled on that proposal. Let's find out exactly A, what was in front of her, and B, what she said. Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN reporter, good afternoon to you. Sum up for us, please, what was at issue and what's been decided. Welcome.
Good afternoon, John. Well, it's been a bit of back and forth over the last 10 days or so regarding finalizing the rules for an impeachment committee. So the Constitutional Court had obviously written in one of the rules that has now given rise to the establishment of the committee. But over the past few weeks since that court ruling, a subcommittee on rules has been looking at fleshing out these rules that were put in place way back in 2017, but were never quite tested. And so in working on those rules, there was a proposal from the DA to include a fit and proper requirement for MPs to serve on the committee. And this has really been a point of contention. It has served for the second time today before the Speaker who chairs the Rules Committee. And again today, she's nixed that proposal. She doesn't feel that there's enough work having gone into defining and determining who would decide what MP is fit and proper. The Constitution doesn't make that recommendation for somebody to serve as an MP. And so really a lot of debate about whether Parliament would not be overstepping by inserting this as a rule rather than trying to propose a constitutional amendment. But the Speaker has pretty much drawn a line in the sand today, John, and the amended rules as now proposed will finally go to the House next week. That will guide the impeachment committee on how it carries out its work, John.
It's a very interesting set of, I don't know if you can call them skirmishes before the main sort of battle is joined. But Lindsay, if overall you were to look at how Parliament's doing in general, obviously the Speaker playing a central role, but the committee in particular, in terms of presenting a credible face to the South African public, who I think in a substantial majority are very keen to see this matter resolved. I mean, if you were to score their performance so far, how are they doing?
Well, these are different committees that are working on different aspects,
Okay.
John. So to be fair, this is not the impeachment committee designing rules for themselves. That process we'll see unfold next week when they actually get down to dealing with terms of reference and dealing with how they're going to appoint evidence leaders and the like. The debate about the rules and how they should be amended and really setting up the guardrails for this committee, we could possibly reflect back on the previous Parliament and question whether they did a good enough job
Right.
in setting up these rules. And again, that was also something forced It came out of the Nkandla matter and a constitutional court order that never really, got to run its full course in Parliament. But of course, we've got to also be fair, John. This is unprecedented territory, and hence this debate about fit and proper moving forward. Many of the political parties and the Speaker herself saying that while she doesn't disagree on principle, that this is we should set a really high bar for MPs who are supposed to make a decision on something so very grave as to remove a sitting president. The principle is not questioned. It's just how Parliament goes about it. And in my view, John, it sometimes feels that everything is so rushed because we get to a situation where we need to deal with the matter and then the rules or the guardrails are not in place and the processes are not there to determine how that needs to happen. And then there is all this rush and tension and court orders that's almost imposing, Parliament to move as quickly as they possibly can to deal with these matters and to carry out their mandate that they probably should have been doing months and mostly years ago.
Thank you so much. Lindsay Dentlinger has her hands full keeping an eye on everything going on in Parliament in regard broadly to that impeachment process. Any updates, I'm sure we'll get them on the latest news bulletins, including this one coming up right now. At 28 minutes to 4, Mbali Tlamini with us once again. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Well, the NPA has assured the public that the release of police ballistics expert Lawrence Magotle on bail does not mean he is an innocent man. The Pretoria Magistrates Court granted Magotle 15,000 rand bail today after almost a month behind bars. He is accused of sabotaging 2 high-profile murder investigations. He is facing charges of defeating the ends of justice, accessory to murder, and unlawful possession of ammunition. Alfara Mushwana has more.
Lawrence Magotle is a senior police captain who is attached to the Forensic Science Laboratory. His main role is to analyze ballistic evidence recovered from crime scenes and link them to specific weapons or suspects. The state alleges that when he was given evidence from Vereniging engineer Armin Swart's murder, Magotle deliberately falsified the ballistics report. NPA spokesperson Lumka Mahanjana says this isn't the end of the road for the tainted ballistics expert.
It's important to note that this has no bearing to the state's case, as bail application is not meant to say someone is either guilty or not guilty. That is of the trial court.
The state alleges that in the ballistics report on Swart's murder, Magotle omitted that the firearm used in the killing had been linked to about 30 other serious crimes. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Electoral Commission in the Western Cape says it's all systems go for this weekend's first voter registration drive. The drive comes as the country prepares for the local government elections on November the 4th. From tomorrow until Sunday, eligible South Africans will be able to register to vote or update their registration details. The IEC says more than 3.3 million voters are currently registered in the Western Cape. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
There were concerns that last month's deadly storms in the Western Cape could affect the voter registration weekend, particularly in areas where infrastructure and electricity networks were damaged. However, Western Cape Provincial Electoral Officer Michael Hendrickse says the IEC has been working closely with disaster management teams to ensure voting stations remain operational.
Recently, I also had a meeting with Eskom with regard to them restoring power. As you know, there was a lot of areas within the province that were cut off. And they also assured us that they are working in terms of restoring those particular power lines.
The IEC says more than 1,600 voting stations will be open across the province tomorrow and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
The South African Reserve Bank has launched its museum today. The public museum is focused on South Africa's economic and financial history. Construction began in 2022, with the bank describing that development as a long-term investment in both its operations and public engagement. Reserve Bank Governor Leseja Kganyago says they try to capture everything the Reserve Bank touches and connects with society.
When we first conceptualized the museum, people were thinking, well, we are a reserve bank, so we should have a money museum. But as we were developing the concept, it became clear. South African Reserve Bank has got a huge collection of artwork, and we have had this artwork supporting South African artists.
And in the UK, police in southern England have granted a man bail following his arrest in connection with a 3-year-old boy ending up in a private zoo's crocodile enclosure. Police had arrested the 30-year-old on suspicion of attempted murder over that incident. According to reports, the boy was pulled out by staff from the zoo and he later received medical treatment at the scene before being taken to hospital. The toddler is still in a critical but stable condition in hospital. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 16 and 19 degrees.
In Protea, lane traffic heavily backed up on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 in Mamelodi. There's slow-moving traffic on Tsamaya Avenue. This is between Watlu and Dr. Ribeiro. Hermanstad, traffic sluggish on Eskiam Patlele between Van der Hof and the R80.
The top story in EWN, the NPA has assured the public that the release of police ballistics expert Lawrence Mahotlwe on bail today does not mean he is an innocent man.
What is special about this year's 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk is that it's happening in the heartbeat of Mzansi, the city of Johannesburg, which carries so much culture and heritage. You should be part of this year's Walk the Talk because one, we're going to hang around together and have fun, but two, I think this is an opportunity for us to reclaim the city, which used to be a melting pot of cultures and languages. I mean, the CBD is still a bustling hub of commerce, of culture, of innovation. And yes, we've noticed the decline of the city over the years, but there are many people who've worked hard to get the city going. And this Walk the Talk is an opportunity for us to show our commitment to this beautiful city of ours. This year, I'm doing the 8-kilometer walk. I like that it goes through Ellis Park and Maboneng and other significant parts of the city. So I want to see as much of the city as possible. To enter the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. See you on the road.
It's your last chance to enter. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries soon. This year, we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses that make a real difference. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa every morning to meet the finalists and hear their inspiring stories. Go to igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com to enter. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The XXL Savings Championship is here, and with Checkers, everyone can save. Get deals like Bacoma Wheat Bix cereal, 900 grams for $52.99. Clover Crush 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre, any two for 79 Rand. And Omo Auto Liquid Detergent 1.5 litre, or capsules 14 per pack, any two for 149 Rand. Valid until 21 June, only at Checkers.
Good morning, Mzansi. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's Thursday.
No.
TGIF, am I right? Citroen Super Saturday is back. Yes. Test drive or buy any Citroen and stand to win a world-class rugby experience. South Africa versus New Zealand, 5 September. Double your entries with the all-new Citroen Basalt from 354,900 Rand up to 40,000 Rand deal assist. Book at citroen.co.za. Runs till 30 June. T's and C's apply.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts delivering cutting-edge training, consulting and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools, from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, first and foremost, other than gas, is a braai is an occasion. It's not just a way of cooking food or cooking meat. I remember a time in England, a bunch of Saffers got together. We were going to have a Brian Spring Day. Invited a couple of English guys. They pitched up. They expected the fire to be ready to cook their meat and to eat and then drink, and were sorely dismayed to find that by the time they pitched up, the fire hadn't even been started. Nothing was ready, and they were starving by the time the fire got started, and even worse off by the time we put the meat on. It took them about 3 years to realize what a braai really means, and a braai is getting together with friends, starting a fire, and eating is really an afterthought.
Good day, the South African family and the 702 family. I would like to say gracias to Mexico. Why I'm saying that? Because of them defeating South Korea this morning. That means South Africa has a chance to go to next round as a second place. So that means South Africa has to beat South Korea, and then whether Czech Republic draw or lose, South Africa is going through if they win. So that's the great news for South Africa. We say good luck for the boys, good luck for the team. And the coach, Hugo, must stop saying that he placed South Africa on the map. No, the world before 2010 was knowing South Africa. South Africa was always an iconic African team. Yeah, so let's go, boys, and let's do it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know how you feel about the game. We were working down in Durban. As you may have heard, we were covering the Durban Tourism Business Awards. A little more about that later, by the way. But because of that, Kabazela and I missed quite a bit of the first half because we had to get a taxi out to the airport. In the second half, I must admit, I had moments of great frustration. I felt we were moving through the middle third in particular really well. I liked the passing through the lines, but into the last third and approaching the Czech penalty area, I was looking for a little bit more sharpness, a bit more flair, a couple of people taking on their man. But look, we got a point, and you can't argue with the fact that we are still very much in it. But yeah. Look, I was looking for a little bit more zip and sparkle. How about you? Give me a call on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. 16 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele, hi. Quickly, your view on last night. How do you think Bafana played?
The second half of the second half was the Bafana that have been playing the last few months. There's definitely a lot of work to do, but also when we get to competitions like World Cup, you realize how much the talent pool within South Africa is limited. The goal scoring remains an issue. It's something that's been addressed by national team coaches long before Hugo Broos was there. So there's room for improvement, but I think the one thing that this team does have is heart and a never give up attitude, and that carries it through the lack of quality that sometimes we show.
So what's coming out of the camp?
Well, John, a dream of a place in the knockout rounds remains alive for South Africa after they played out a draw with Czechia at the FIFA World Cup. Teboho Mokoena scored the equalizer for Bafana as they recorded their first point of the tournament. Hugo Broos has praised the temperament of the midfield general, who'll now miss the clash against South Korea, having picked up a second yellow card of the tournament.
We learn a lot in those games we play here now. Again, it should be very good for a team that we should go to the second round, and then those things will disappear. I'm very sure of it. Things like the moment that the throw-in. So be focused from the first second of the game. Know what will happen and take position. Showing your emotions and get yellow cards and that kind of things. But I will blame nobody for that. There is also a good side. That means that the mentality of Teboho is very good. And that pleased me more than the yellow card he got.
There were wins for Switzerland, Canada and Mexico over the last 24 hours, with Eritrea's 1-0 success over South Korea, seeing them become the first nation to qualify for the knockout stages. Ishmael Kohone's serious-looking injury left Canada manager Jesse Marsh in tears as it overshadowed their first World Cup win as they thrashed 9-man Qatar 6-0.
It's an incredibly seminal moment for everyone to understand that there's talent in this country, that there's mentality, that there's desire, that there's a lot of things that make this country special, even though it's a hockey country. That part I'm very proud that we've accomplished, a moment where everybody can kind of remember what's happening. But even more so, I think it will drive us to make sure that we do everything we can to win the group and really make a run in this tournament.
Newly promoted Coventry City will travel to champions Arsenal in the first match of the 2026-27 Premier League season, following today's fixture reveal. Fellow newcomers Hull City will host Manchester United on the 22nd of August, while Ipswich are at home to Sunderland on the same day. Manchester City will begin life without Pep Guardiola at home to Bournemouth on the 23rd of August, in what will be Marco Rose's first game in charge of the Cherries. And switching to the United Rugby Championship, where tonight's final pits Leinster up against the Bulls in a repeat of last year's competition finale. The Irish side are favourites to lift the title, but Marcel Coetzee has warned critics not to underestimate the Bulls' ability to pull off an upset.
We've been privileged enough to play a few URC finals, and not obviously going all the way, but it's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity it was a new season. The character shown by the boys throughout the whole season, it was an enjoyable journey. I think the journey, first of all. And to end up here, again, here at Grove Park, with a bunch of special guys, it's going to be, I think I would rate it as one of the best venues to play on. And it's going to be a great occasion, I think.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, Lee, we need to catch up with the movement or lack of out on the roads. Karabo Charlie has his headphones on. He has his screen that he's staring at. He's ready to go.
Protea Lane at this stage. Traffic heavily backed up on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 in Straydon Park, Randburg. Expect some delays on Malibongo Drive between Hans Kuman and the N1. In leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic sluggish in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80. To report any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This Youth Month, 702 Drive with John Perlman
commemorates the youth of 1976.
Let's walk the talk.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
On the Midday Report, every day from 12 to 1 p.m, we will bring you breaking news from the scene as it unfolds with newsmakers, reporters, commentators, experts and analysts. We'll explain the stories of the day, give you context for why they are important and what they mean for you. It is everything you need to know in 1 hour, from news to global events, business, sports, science, books, and always some good news too. Appointment listening, every day at 12 with the Midday Report.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
What if the problem you face became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. And you could win 200,000 Rand in cash plus mentorship, business support and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Breaking news. Motorists are bracing themselves for even more fuel price hikes in June.
Or prepare differently. BYD hybrid vehicles use up to 70% less fuel than normal cars. And BYD fully electric vehicles, no fuel at all. Test drive the brand new BYD Atto 2 DMI plug-in hybrid this June and kiss rising fuel prices goodbye forever. Visit byd.coza or your nearest dealership. BYD, build your dreams.
702 Drive with John Perlman was in conversation with FNB Private Banking, discussing its recognition at the Europe Money Global Private Banking Awards.
From our perspective, private banking in South Africa has been lagging a bit behind what's happening on the global stage and international. Traditionally our side, it was private banking from a South African perspective was more about exclusivity, red carpet banking service, banking and lending solutions, and that have lagged international markets. We've transitioned our model to be more advice-led, make sure and more holistic, including investments, insurance, and that awards is a validation of the hard work.
Learn more at fnb.co.za. FNB Private. Advice for your wealth journey. FNB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
A tectonic shift in world rugby is coming. 12 nations, 2 groups, one defining rivalry. And in the biggest game of the year, England come to Ellis Park to take on the mighty Springboks on July the 4th. Expect fireworks as the Red Roses travel to the Highveld. The Nations Championship is where hemispheres collide. So get your tickets now, only from Ticketmaster.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Well, regularly in the course of a day, a week on 702 Drive, and indeed across the station, we look at the many efforts South Africa is making to deal with the fight against corruption. What often attracts your approvals and thumbs up is the Special Investigating Unit, which gets proclamations, conducts investigations, and I think to general applause, confiscates money that has been earned through ill-gotten gains. But the SIU has its own challenges. The acting head of the Special Investigating Unit, Leonard Lekgetho, has been raising some concerns, and he joins us now to express some of these and to give us more details on that as well. Very good afternoon to Mr. Lekgetho, and thanks so much for giving us your time.
Thank you, John, and good afternoon to your listeners.
One of the intriguing things I saw in an interview you did with News 24 with Mohammed Hussein was saying, when asked about people's frustration that prosecutions are not happening at the pace or with the intensity that your investigations would suggest they should, you're saying that you've raised the possibility of doing prosecutions yourself. How would that work, and how far has that idea gone? Good afternoon again.
Thank you, John, and thank you for the opportunity to clarify that aspect. Basically, we didn't say we want the prosecution powers.
Okay.
And it's based on the fact that, remember, investigation and prosecution needs to be separate, and there need to be impartiality in between, So what we are saying is previously the delegation, as you know, that in terms of Section 179 of the Constitution and the NPA Act, the NDPP can delegate the prosecution power. So previously, some years ago, SIU was delegated those powers, but that's when we're dealing with the cases relating to SASA and housing, the RDP housing.
Right.
So they give us the limited delegation in order to deal specifically with those matters because they were huge volume. So that's where it worked. But in the current form as it is now, since we've got more power to confiscate the assets and to refer to NPA, we believe that in terms of our effort, I think that process, the NPA currently we engage in them, and I think they are doing quite well in order to make sure that they speed up the prosecution, particularly on matters coming from the SIU.
Let's talk about funding, and I want to make sure I understand your funding model, Mr. Lekgetho, correctly. You get core funding from government of 40%, but then on all the others, if you investigate, there's a proclamation saying that, for example, you need to investigate procurement in, for the sake of argument, the Northwest Department of Education. That department is supposed to pay you because you're helping them to clean up their house. But in many cases, and perhaps even the majority of cases, you're not getting paid back. Have I understood that correctly? And if so, what can you do about it?
That's correct, John. We're getting 40% from government, and which is straight funding, and the rest of there is 60%. We get it from project funding. What we do, we allocate resource and we complete timesheet, we are able to show to the department to say, this is the amount of time we are spending on investigation, so can you pay back?
Right.
The challenge comes when the person that we're investigating is the one who's supposed to pay us. And remember, it's a big challenge because for him to authorize such money to be paid for us. But the challenge, we are dealing with it with the Minister of Justice and the Portfolio Committee, where they are in the process of assisting us so that we can find a solution in terms of our finding. So there's a submission that we have made that we be fully funded so that we can able to do investigation without depending on anybody that we might be likely to investigate to have to pay us. So the process has been taken care of, and we believe that we'll find solution in terms of the finding. But currently, it's working. Even though we've got a lot of departments that are owing us, we are able to manage the process. But in the long run, that's where we foresee the problem that it might become a major problem whereby the reserve that we have will not able to take us beyond certain period.
Lots to look out for and lots to push hard for. Thank you very much. Leonard Ligeto is the acting head of the SIU, the Special Investigating Unit. This is 702 Drive.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Shibile leadership, they trying to protect whoever the kingpin of the big five by trying to arrest Mkhwanazi and Khumalo, and they're not going to win that one.
But also, how delusional are they? Do they really think that South Africans are just going to stand back as they go after the people who seemingly have revealed so much about the rot in the SAPS? And listen, I'm not suggesting that Mkhwanazi or Dumisani Khumalo are angels, but on the balance of probabilities, we are dealing here with two people. The first group has revealed so much, which has led us to this point. And we've got another team now that's trying to target the very same people who have exposed the rot in the law enforcement agencies.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
It's Powerball jackpot time. This Friday, you have a chance to win over 160 million rand in total Powerball estimated jackpot. That is life-changing money that could be yours instantly. Catch the live draw tonight at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC, and you could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizek Kaya.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
Criminals really seek out society's most vulnerable, and often what we've seen is often your older parents or family members who are lonely or looking for companionship. So we generally see the profile being people in their 50s, 60s and 70s who may have accessible savings and a bit of a pension fund they've built up, and they come from a generation where trust is built up through conversation and consistent presence, right? And what we've seen, as you said, is that these scammers invest weeks and often months in building what feels like a genuine relationship without even mentioning the money. And this is probably the most dangerous component. That by the time the trap is sprung, that emotional bond is now real, and that person, the victim, really feels they're in a legitimate relationship. And really what you need to understand is that it's not one person sending out random messages.
Yeah.
These are really organized syndicates with scripts, teams of operators, and they know the psychological weapons to deploy.
Slam the scam with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized financial services provider and registered credit provider.
702 and Corporates That Care caught up with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa about how they're reconnecting communities through safe, reliable, and affordable rail transport.
When you talk about the scholars, pensioners, youth, any customer, one of the key things we focus on is customers must feel safe in the environment. So you find not only securitization of our assets, but also our customers, securing them, making them feel safe. We've got security on the trains. It's got the CCTV cameras on the trains, our stations. So the environment we need to look at, and that is critical. Part of our secondary mandate, Ongani, is also to generate revenue of our assets. We own significant property, land, but also other assets like fiber.
Visit prasa.com to learn more about their services, projects, and community initiatives. Corporates that care with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Let's hear from Shemaine, owner of Vovotello Linwood, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
I wish we had switched sooner. Not only was it quick and easy, but also gave us more favorable premiums.
For restaurants, pharmacies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
This is EWN.
Fit and proper impeachment requirement rejected by Didiza, and March wants Parliament to enter the migration chat. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. National Assembly Speaker Togo Didiza has rejected a proposal to include a fit and proper requirement for MPs to serve on Parliament's impeachment committee. Political parties tried for a second time today to get that proposal over the line at a meeting of the Rules Committee. The parties have been working on amending the Section 89 rules as the impeachment committee prepares to start probing the storage and theft of US dollars from President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm in Palapala in 2020. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
10 days ago, Speaker Togo Didiza expressed concern about a fit and proper requirement for MPs serving on an impeachment committee and sent it back to the Rules Subcommittee to refine the proposal and come up with a definition. However, after a more detailed presentation today, Didiza was still not satisfied, saying all the shortcomings had not been addressed.
It will still remain subjective. It also doesn't deal with the issue of dispute resolution mechanism.
With the impeachment committee already established and the proposed rule not having a retrospective impact, Didiza said there was no need to rush its inclusion. But the DA's Glenys Breitenbach implored Didiza to reconsider, saying the process of impeaching a president required a higher bar for MPs.
It's a big job. It's a very important committee. That the members who serve on that need not necessarily be fit and proper. I find that deeply disconcerting.
The MK and EFF have welcomed Didiza's decision to veto the proposal, arguing such a rule would be unconstitutional. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Anti-illegal migration group March and March has petitioned Parliament calling on the National Assembly to also investigate the current state of immigration controls. The organisation has cited the abuse of the asylum system as one of the reasons the issue needs Parliament's intervention. The petition by the group comes as countries continue with the voluntary repatriation of its citizens following demonstrations in parts of South Africa. Babalondenze reports.
The March and March organization has been holding marches and protests in various provinces for more than 6 months, mobilizing thousands of people. The group has also set illegal foreigners in the country a deadline of June 30th to leave the country. In its latest move, the group has taken its fight to Parliament to petition the Assembly to also investigate the current state of immigration control, border management, weak enforcement of bylaws, and the lack of compliance with the labor laws. International Relations Committee Chairperson Supra Maumapilo called on MPs not to phrase the current situation as xenophobic.
I'll just request honorable members not to use the word xenophobia when we debate these matters of tensions and frictions, which are a consequence of challenges around immigration.
Maumapelo says negative perceptions about South Africa internationally are having an adverse effect on the country's investment potential. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News.
Suspended KZN Hawks boss Lesija Sinona has told the Madlanga Commission that more police officers knew about the storage of a large consignment of drugs which was stolen from the Port Shepstone Hawks office. Sinona has returned to the Madlanga Commission today following his first appearance in January. During testimonies by other witnesses, Sinona has been placed at the centre of the drug theft, something that he has denied. Khomotso Modise has more.
When high-ranking Hawks officer Campbell News
Manyuswa testified at the Madlanga Commission this week. He told the Commission that only General Lisija Sinona had the keys to the strong room of the Hawks Port Shepstone office. He also said that he was skeptical when he heard the large consignment of cocaine had been stolen from the room. But today, Sinona has testified about an inspection from Hawks officers from the head office who visited the Port Shepstone office and also knew about the stored drugs.
Just so that I understand, is your point that other people came to know about the drugs and the fact that they were stored
Exactly, Commissioner. Absolutely true. And how they happen to know, I
Prince not told them.
Sinona's testimony continues this afternoon. Khomezo Modise, Eyewitness News.
Search operations for 4 missing people are continuing along the Vaal River in the Northern Cape this afternoon. This after a makeshift boat carrying about 20 farm workers capsized yesterday. It's understood 6 people drowned during that incident. Officers have so far recovered the bodies of 2 men, with the search for the remaining 4 still underway. Police spokesperson Molefe Shimane says 14 people survived and were treated at a local hospital.
At approximately 6:30 in the morning, police in Douglas received a report regarding a makeshift boat that was allegedly ferrying people across the Vaal River from Vala's farm to Willie Rivier farm. It was reported that several occupants fell into the water.
And the World Health Organization is warning that the Ebola outbreak is spreading rapidly in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The outbreak, declared on May the 15th, had been going undetected for some time. According to the WHO, there are currently 896 confirmed cases so far in the region, including 232 confirmed deaths, with 21 new cases in the last 24 hours. The organization's Africa Emergencies Chief says the outbreak remains serious and is evolving fast. It says it is still racing to catch up with the worsening situation. Gold is trading at $4,157.97 an ounce. The rand is at 16.47 to the dollar, 21.78 to the pound, 18.88 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.90 a barrel.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic heading towards Fourways. That's in Bryanston on the N1 southbound between the Patlu Interchange and Winnie Mandela Drive, while in Protea Glen, traffic remains sluggish. This is on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abubakar Drive and the R558.
In your sport, Debo Mogwena's penalty keeps Bafana Bafana's World Cup hopes alive. Arsenal to start their Premier League title defence against promoted Coventry. And the Bulls hope 4th time's a charm in the United Rugby Championship final.
A partly cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 5 degrees, peaking at 16. Pretoria 10 and 18, and Vereeniging 5 and 16 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza has rejected a proposal to include a fit and proper requirement for MPs to serve on the impeachment committee.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 4. Hope you're having a good Friday. I hope you got a good weekend lined up. If you're doing something special, it just has to be special to you. It doesn't have to be making national news. Let us know. Maybe there's a celebration. Maybe there's something you are competing in. Maybe your choir's performing somewhere. Maybe your sports team, one we've never heard of, but that is at the center of your lives, is taking part in competition. Maybe your children or kids in your life are doing interesting things as well. We always like to hear about your weekend as it draws near. Drop me a note on that on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. Coming up in a moment, the other thing going on over the weekend is voter registration weekend. Are you going to register for the first time. Of course, it's an opportunity to go and check that all the details that the IEC has for you are absolutely accurate. This is, after all, a local government election, so you can't simply go and vote anywhere. So that is a conversation we'll have with James Apane, General Manager for Electoral Matters at the IEC. Later in this half hour, we will wrap up our look at the Durban Tourism Business Awards, talk to one of last night's winners, and at 10 to 5, Randall Abrams sharing his thoughts on Abdullah Ibrahim in Randall's One Song. Looking forward to that.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, John. John here. John, I'm actually surprised about this rule of fit and proper in Parliament, because I thought this was actually a requirement for someone to be a member of Parliament. So I'm actually surprised that it is not one of the rules, it is not one of the requirements, that one should meet in order to become a member of Parliament. It is actually a surprise to me. It is a surprise. I actually didn't know. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, John. Neo here from Rhodoport. You know, when those guys, the Czech guys, the tall guys at the back, they were just hitting those balls back, I thought of this player, George Komentarakis. That guy used to be tall and he used to be so good with his head. And there was another guy that I forgot his name with a wide head also. I think he was playing for Kaizer Chiefs. He was so good with his head as well. We need guys that are good with aerial balls, because we've got Mudau crossing on the right side, and we also have, but we need tall guys in the front so that we can win the balls, the high balls as well. But other than that, it was a good game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, having a big, tall striker, it's not the only way in which strikers can get onto long balls. That is the most obvious of that. Playing with your back to goal is a particular skill, and it's one to be admired. Tall, blonde guy you might be thinking of, who played for Chiefs, also played for Swallows. Mark Batchelor is someone that you might have in mind, and there was always George Durnley, who I'm not sure would have had a head of blonde hair, but he was very, very good with his back to goal as well. And there have been others as well. Shane McGregor comes to mind too. Bafana, yeah. Oh, man, I was so desperate for that second goal. But I guess when you're 1-0 down and you're approaching the end of the game, you ought to be satisfied with one. The question about being fit and proper, is that not already a requirement for Parliament? It is, but it is specified in very particular terms. I know that you cannot, if you have been sentenced to for a sentence for a crime without the option of a fine, then you are not able to actually serve in Parliament. The wording: if you're convicted of an offence sentenced to more than 12 months in prison without the option of a fine, that disqualification would last for 5 years after your sentence is completed. There are other aspects. Are you an unrehabilitated insolvent? If you're not a registered voter, that is something as well. And you cannot, by the way, hold a paid government job and be a member of Parliament. So those are specific things that discount you. But fit and proper is very, very widely defined. I think the MPs who were pushing for that would have defined it more narrowly. But I don't think we can confuse the parliamentary barriers that you have to get across on the one hand, and the move that was afoot unsuccessfully in the committee on the other. 4:14.
EWN Traffic.
Bryanston is busy. Karabo Chali will explain.
Yeah, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic heading towards four ways. I guess it's just peak hour traffic on the N1 southbound between the Batlu Interchange and Winnie Mandela Drive. Traffic remains heavily backed up in Protea Glen, N12 westbound from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive all the way to the R558. Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic is also a bit sluggish on Eskia Mphahlele between Van der Hof and the R18. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
How challenging is it to be a KZN R&B artist, considering KZN is quite big with certain genres, and other genres musicians will be like, I need to move to Gauteng?
I think, it comes with its challenges, but I must say, the people from my home city really do support me. Although I haven't been booked out there yet, I haven't performed a show there yet. But
how KZN?
And I'm from Durban, it's crazy. But it's gonna happen soon,
It's
I
coming,
know. It's coming. Yes, we're manifesting.
Contemporary R&B singer, songwriter, Nanette.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
If you work in marketing and you've delivered real business impact, this is your moment. The Marketing Achievement Awards, now in Season 6, is South Africa's leading platform recognizing strategic marketing excellence. Whether you're in a corporate agency, startup, or in-house team, the MAA celebrates smart thinking and real results, no matter your budget. Entries are now open, so don't miss your chance to be recognized. Visit marketingawards.co.za to download your entry kit. Do it before the 11 July deadline. The Marketing Achievements Awards, presented by Prime Media Broadcasting.
One goal, every nation. All eyes will be on the beautiful game as the world's greatest soccer spectacular takes center stage. Step onto the field with Hollywood bets and prepare to score massive wins. You could win a share of 2 million rand in cash and cars. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture, online or at your nearest branch. Feel the power, live the passion. Alagasha, bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care, we cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is underwritten by ANG, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, a licensed FSP.
Kaelo Lifestyle, a mental wellness and support program for employees and their families, is calling on you to take a step towards better mental health. As the mental wellness partner of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, Kaelo is bringing even more purpose to the walk. From checking in with yourself to celebrating connection, every step is designed to support your well-being. So rally your team and walk for mental wellness. Visit primemediaplus.com for more information. Kaelo Lifestyle, changing lives and improving business. On 702, let's walk the talk.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, let's focus our attention now on the upcoming local government elections in November, some 4.5 months away. I'll figure out the math. Anyway, it's a ways off, except it isn't. And that's why this weekend's registration weekend is, as always, of great importance. The Independent Electoral Commission has opened up all 23,706 voting stations. We have a voters roll currently of 28 million registered voters, but there are many voters who are eligible but have not signed up. So, what's the focus this weekend, and has a target been set? James Apane is General Manager for Electoral Matters at the IEC. Mr. Apane, welcome and thanks very much for your time. There are, as I understand it, other ways of getting yourself registered. If we look at the activity of previously unregistered voters between the announcing of the electoral date and now, are we getting any signs that this year the electorate is perhaps more engaged, more keen?
Yes, absolutely, John. But first of all, let me take this opportunity to greet you, Ndate John, as you are commonly referred to.
Thank you.
And all South Africans out there. Yes, John, we have seen a lot of interest in taking advantage of existing platforms of registration, besides the fact that people can now go to their voting stations tomorrow. That's why the figure has increased from 27.7 when we last had the national and provincial elections to 28 million. And this is for the first time, John, because in previous elections, just before we do a big registration drive like this one, would have had a deficit, meaning a negative growth on the voters roll as you compare it with the previous election. So
right.
Indeed, we're seeing interest, but it's never enough, John. We still have the challenge on the registration cohort 18 to 19. And you can register at 16, as you all know. And this gives us the ability to add those people onto the voters roll when they are 18.
What are we seeing any patterns, be they regional, generational, registration by gender? I mean, is it a uniform uptick, or are we seeing some spikes?
We are seeing a bit of spikes in the age category 40, in the 40s and so forth. But when it comes to the online, we are seeing a lot of the youth taking advantage of those platforms, because this is where they reside in terms of cyber space. They themselves stay in these spaces, digital spaces. And when we created these online facilities, we're seeing them being the biggest, beneficiaries of those facilities. But overall, for traditional registration, such as coming to the voting stations, the older generations are the ones that usually prefer to do so. That's what my mother told me last week.
Yes.
When I said we have OVR, and he says, no, I still prefer to go to the voting station.
Yeah, that would be me too, I have to say. Tell me this, do you use this as an opportunity to test systems, to test logistics? And if so, what kind of tests would you run?
Well, we are beyond the stage of doing tests now, John. We are ready to deliver the registration weekend. So the weekend is not necessarily a test. It's a big milestone, because we need to make sure that we give people a good, positive experience when they come to our voting stations. But in terms of tests, you always have to plan, obviously, and make sure things go according to plan, especially when you are dealing with such a big operation. So on our systems front, we have done a lot of what we call joint application design sessions, wherein we looked at issues that happened in the previous election and we improved those issues. Additionally, for the first time, we've also enlisted companies coming from outside of our environment to come and review the code that we use to create the systems, and they also did stress testing. As you would expect, John, a lot of people are going to come, and then we must be ready for them. So what we did was proper stress testing to make sure that the facility can withstand spikes.
Thanks so much to James Apane, and the very best of luck for the voter registration weekend. What we'll do is chat to you on Monday and find out, particularly for younger people registering for the first time, if you went to a registration station, we'd always want to know how that went. James Apane is General Manager for Electoral Matters at the IEC. And if you have been doing this stuff online, user-friendly system. I haven't tried it out myself, but I'd love to know, if you have, what your conclusions were. 23 minutes past 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, last night, Durban's tourism industry came together to celebrate the businesses and individuals helping shape the city's reputation as a world-class destination. Among the big winners was the hotel, the Oyster Box. It took top honors in both the category accommodation hotel, but was also successful in the MICE category, which refers to meetings and incentives. It's a testament to a brand that has become synonymous with exceptional hospitality, service, and memorable guest experiences. We're joined now by General Manager at the Oyster Box, Philisiwe Gumede. Philisiwe, welcome and many congratulations on this. Obviously, yours is a hotel that has already built a substantial reputation. Some people might say you probably don't need an award to confirm this, but presumably you're delighted. What advantage do you think these awards might give you?
Thank you so much, John, for having me. Good afternoon to the listeners. Yes, absolutely. I think Oyster Box has been one of those properties that has really set that standard, and we are known for our service. It's an iconic hotel. But I would like to say, we won the accommodation hotel award, and we've won it previously, so it is something that is definitely not new. But what is exciting for us, for the Oyster Box and the entire team, is that this time around, for the first time, we participated for the MIS category, which is meetings, exhibitions, and special events, and we then scooped that award. So this is one we have celebrating beyond, because we really needed to also position ourselves as the Oyster Box, that we are a hotel that also provides meetings, conferencing. We're not just known for accommodation and our food and beverage space.
Excuse me, as the general manager, I would have thought one of your challenges is you guys are always, and have been for a while, on top or near the top. The big challenge, though, is to stay there. I mean, there must be moments where your staff say, oh, come on, we're doing well already, give us a little break. But presumably you're looking for excellence in every corner, every minute of the day. How do you as a manager sustain that? Because I wouldn't have thought it's straightforward.
Oh, no, it's definitely not straightforward. And we always to keep on top of our game, because, business changes. There are business trends that are out there. So as Oyster Box, we really, really pride ourselves with making sure that we have those personal touches. We have those amazing storytellings, the service excellence, and most importantly, our people that obviously take pride in delivering this continuous, distinguished service. And it is undoubtedly one of the key reasons that we stand where we are today. So it is a lot of work that we do.
Thank you so much. Well, the work is clearly paying off. Pilisiwe Gumede is the general manager at the Oyster Box. 2 awards they walked off with last night at the 5th Durban Tourism Business Awards. 702 Drive, 4.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Shibile leadership, they trying to protect whoever the kingpin of the big five by trying to arrest Mkwanazi and Kumalo, and they're not going to win that one.
But also, how delusional are they? Do they really think that South Africans are just going to stand back as they go after the people who seemingly have revealed so much about the rot in the SAPS? And listen, I'm not suggesting that Mkwanazi or Dumisani Kumalo are angels, but on the balance of probabilities, we are dealing here with 2 people. The first group has revealed so much, which has led us to this point. And you've got another team now that's trying to target the very same people who have exposed the rot in the law enforcement agencies.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
So for years, independent businesses have run on tools that were never really built for them. They were generic, they were disconnected, they were mainly designed for big businesses and then kind of retooled and watered down for the smaller versions. But 11 years later, Yoco is now giving independent businesses an unfair advantage. This week at Yoco Next, Yoco unveiled its latest innovations. They're specifically designed to help independent businesses move up a gear from survival mode to sustainable growth. There are 20 new products and features, and they're designed to give South Africa's independent businesses the kind of advantage they need to really start winning. Yoco Loyalty automatically rewards customers every time they tap their card. There are no apps, punch cards, or extra admin required. Industry modes offer solutions tailored to specific sectors. These could range from tableside ordering on Yoco's card machines to appointment management for merchants who are working much more in the services space. And then there is Yoco Connect. That is a marketplace that integrates third-party apps and developer tools. And a preview, Yoco AI will learn each business's own sales patterns, costs, and staffing, flagging what's happening and what to do next before the owner even has to ask. Independent businesses just got access to world-class commerce technology. Visit yoco.com to learn more.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park Stadium this year. Lions fans, get ready. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership package to watch the Springboks versus England and the All Blacks. Or from just 950 Rand, get your Lions-only package and unlock access to every Lions match at Ellis Park. All packages include the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Memberships are available now at Ticket Pro or through our stadium ticket office. Visit lionsrugby.co.za for package options. Own the season and get behind your team.
This winter is a cold one. Keep the heat in and the cold out with Cash Build. Save on electricity and keep your home warm with our top quality ceiling insulation. Plus, upgrade to our energy efficient geysers and geyser blankets to keep your water hot for longer, especially in the mornings. Don't turn into an ice block this winter. Head in-store to your nearest Cash Build for quality insulation and energy-efficient geysers. Cash Build.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. An end to the week. Not such a great end, though, from what I can see.
No, John, good afternoon. Oil prices still below $80 a barrel just, but I think concerns about the sort of peace deal, the fact that J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President, cancelled his trip to Switzerland to sign the thing, all of that kind of just putting a few concerns. At the same time, gold and platinum prices dropping, and that having a big impact on the JSE. The all share in down 1.95%. 112,757. Financials up 1.29. Industrials up 0.13, but resources down by 8%, John. That really tells you what's happened. I mean, Gold Fields is down 13%. Valterra is down nearly 10%. Anglo Gold's down by over 9%. It goes on and on and on. But it's all gold and platinum miners that are down so significantly. Alpha Min are up nearly 11%. Tungela having a strong day, up nearly 5.5%. And Sasol up 3.7%. I think just that sort of tells you what people are worried about. We Buy Cars also up by 5.19%. I think you have this quite strange thing where Sasol is up because of oil prices, because people are worried the oil prices will go the wrong way, and We Buy Cars is up because people think that that oil prices will go the other way. So quite a strange thing, but there are other reasons for this as well. Clicks are up 3.75% on the day. A little bit of corporate news. So Naspers, their headline earnings for the year, they say to the end of March, are expected to be up by between 8 and 15%. Its subsidiary Process, their core headline earnings, is expected to be up by between 19 and 28%. And ABSA confirming it wants to increase its holding in its Kenyan operations. It owns nearly 69% of them. It wants to own 85%. U.S. markets closed today for the Juneteenth holiday. It commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. The gold price, $149.93. I do wonder, John, is it going to fall below $4,000 at some point? Platinum, $1,657.20. Brent crude, $79.80 a barrel. The rand to the dollar, 16.47 to the euro, 18.87 to the British pound, 21.77. Karabel, that's my cell phone. Give it back. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
27 minutes to 5. We promised to sort all of that out. It's time for the news with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The National Prosecuting Authority says it remains confident of its case against senior police ballistics expert Lawrence Magotlwe. Magotlwe was released on 15,000 Rand bail by the Pretoria Magistrates Court today after spending almost a month behind bars. The senior forensic officer is accused of deliberately tampering with ballistics evidence in 2 high-profile cases, including the murder of Vereniging engineer Armin Swart. NPA spokesperson Lumka Hanjana says despite Magotlwe's release on bail, the state believes it has a strong chance of securing a successful prosecution.
As I've indicated before, investigations are continuing in this case. If there are any other persons of interest in this case, those people will be joined to this case. Those people will be arrested. But for now, there's only one accused appearing in relation to this case. Like I said, investigations are ongoing. If there's a need for additional charges, those charges will be added.
About 300 Zimbabwean nationals are being transported back to their home country from Cape Town today. A large group, including women and children, camped outside the Zimbabwean consulate this week, pleading for assistance. Their voluntary repatriation comes as similar scenes continue unfolding in other parts of the country. Anti-illegal immigration groups have been protesting in South Africa, demanding that government addresses the migration crisis. Carlo Peterson has more.
A group of Zimbabwe nationals could earlier be seen loading a bus with luggage, blankets and other belongings before boarding the bus to be carted off to their home country. Some say they have been sleeping on the pavement outside the Zimbabwe consulate since midweek. While many were reluctant to speak, others say they are leaving because of growing fears of xenophobia and intimidation in their communities. Zimbabwean national Desai Chakwesha, who has been living in Joe Slovo informal settlement in Milnerton since 2011, says challenges with immigration documentation have left many of his compatriots vulnerable.
They are facing some challenges due to some survival, because to the companies that they are working, they need the paperwork. You cannot work without a permit or a paperwork. So now they are forced to go back home.
He says those returning to Zimbabwe also cited fears linked to a 30th of June deadline set by the anti-illegal immigration civic movement, March and March. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at the Zimbabwe consulate in Cape Town.
An Elsie's River crime activist has raised concerns about what he describes as a growing culture of residents running towards gunfire instead of seeking safety. A warning message circulated on a community WhatsApp group yesterday, urging residents to remain indoors and avoid certain parts of the area. That message was shared following an alleged smash and grab incident that claimed the life of an EMS worker. Community crime activist Steve Ross says the warning was necessary as residents, including young children, often rush towards the scene of shootings to see what is happening.
You wouldn't believe that the community, including children as young as 5 or 6, was running towards where the sound came from. And for me, that was the most shocking thing to observe, that nobody runs away from where the sound is. They actually storm through alleyways to actually go see who's shot and who's shooting.
And in France, a heat wave is set to intensify this weekend, putting the country on track for record temperatures. More than half of the country's population has been dealing with scorching temperatures, which have prompted 784 primary and secondary schools to adjust their hours. According to reports, France's National Weather Agency has warned that the heat wave would be widespread, prolonged and intense. Temperatures are expected to peak at around 40 degrees Celsius in some regions between Sunday and Tuesday next week. Scientists are warning that heat waves in Europe are becoming more frequent as a result of climate change. A partly cloudy Saturday, later becoming cloudy in Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 10 degrees and highs of between 16 and 18.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic in Bryanston on the N1 southbound between the Between Change and Winnie Mandela Drive in Rivonia heading towards the N1. There's also slow-moving traffic on Rivonia Road between 12th Avenue and the N1 in Alexandra. Traveling towards Germiston, you can expect about a 20-minute delay. N3 south between Marlborough Drive and Van Buren.
The top story in EWN. The NPA says it remains confident of its case against senior police ballistics expert Lawrence Mahotwe.
South Africa, your vote starts with registration.
Register to vote.
This Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June. Make sure you're registered to vote or check that your voter registration details are up to date.
To register where they ordinarily reside.
Whether you're registering for the first time or confirming your voting status, visit elections.org.za for everything you need to know. And stay informed with 702, Cape Talk and EWN for the latest updates, analysis, and developments throughout the registration weekend. Register, check, be counted.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday, 26 July. Babize bonke. But why don't you get a taste of what walking the walk the talk would actually be like? This Sunday, Josie My Josie is having another Main Street Sunday, taking over Marshalltown and flipping the script on how Josie moves. One whole street in the heart of the city, closed to cars, just people, vibes, and that Main Street magic. 702 Soulful Sunday with Kenny and Pushaza will also be there, broadcasting live from Main Street Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go to josiemyjosie.com for all the details and to grab your free tickets. And let's show the city what happens when the streets belong to the people. And what's more, you can also register for Walk the Talk at Main Street Sundays or enter now on primemediaplus.com. And get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Joburg.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The world is moving fast. Consumer mindsets and preferences are changing in real time. AI is creating new rules and timelines are shorter than ever. At Plus 94 Research, we help leaders reduce uncertainty. We deliver authentic, real-time data grounded in proven methodologies and powered by relevant, cutting-edge technology. So when decisions can't wait, you move forward with clarity, confidence, and impact. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision-making.
This Father's Day weekend, put your driving skills to the test at Hyde Park Corner with the Ferrari Simulator Challenge, brought to you by Zebra Square Automobile and Pablo Clark Racing. Set your fastest lap, climb the leaderboard, and stand a chance to win incredible prizes, including a Pablo Clark Racing experience worth 20,000 Rand and a 10,000 Rand Hyde Park Corner gift card. Entry is 100 Rand per attempt, and the action takes place at Hyde Park Centre Court from Friday to Sunday. Terms and conditions apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey John, Linda from Soweto. I went online a few weeks ago to register to vote in November, and absolutely brilliant service. Honestly, I received the confirmation notice and where I should vote, i.e. the address where I need to vote for my address, within 3 minutes or less of registering. So, instead of going and queuing in interesting places, the online registration generally does work. Thanks for a wonderful program. Bye.
Hi, afternoon, John and Tim Apare from the report. Regarding the braai, I always use brisket, charcoal, and I always start with chicken, then have beef in the middle, and then end up with wors, and never ever pork wors.
Hey, Ndada John, afternoon. O'Brien Phosphorus. Ndada John, please help us with soccer, man. You are someone who knows a lot about soccer. Is it prohibited for an assistant coach maybe to be on the touchline, motivate the boys? Because our boys lack that motivation, Ndada John. And I see someone like Helman Kelele just sitting there. Yes, Hugo Bruce is old. Have you ever seen Rolando Mkwena when his team play? Or Pep Guardiola? Or Jose Mourinho? I think we need a charismatic coach who will run around with the boys just to give them an extra encouragement. But unfortunately, in our case, in Ndada John, they are all sitting at the bench, analyzing. Yes, you must analyze. Sometimes you stand up, you call, hey, Mfukeng, come back, Maseko, do this. But I don't see that, especially in someone like Abu Helman Kelele. Also, Bafana, Manje, Ashen Zenganje, hey, Chiefta in. Thanks, Ndada John.
Very interesting question. I do not know the answer to that. It's possible that someone else on the team or someone in the audience knows that. My impression is that those boxes close to the touchline, technical areas is the correct name for them, I only ever see head coaches there. I have to also say, by the way, I don't often see Didier Deschamps, the French coach, out there. He doesn't seem to be a particularly demonstrative coach either. Your point is well taken, though. Would they benefit from having someone animated and visible? There's mixed views on that. Some people feel, I know, for example, the Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta gets a lot of criticism for being too agitated, too animated. But let's throw it out to you. Would Bafana benefit from somebody out there? And if they did and would, can Helman Mkalele go there according to the rules? My sense is he can't, but we'll see what we can find out. 16 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
EWN Sport is brought to you by Checkers. The final whistle hasn't blown on big savings yet. The Checkers XXL Savings Championship continues with new deals every week only at Checkers. At 4:45, it's time to catch up with Tolakele Mganga.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Thanks so much, John. And Rilebohile Mfukeng says Bafana can compete against anyone with a 90-minute clash against South Korea set to determine the outcome of their 2026 FIFA World Cup campaign. Last night, South Africa played out a 1-1 draw against Czechia in a result that saw them record their first point of the tournament. And with the team next in action in a must-win clash, President Yama 2000 has issued a rallying call to his teammates.
I also believe I play one of the best leagues, so I think I can compete anywhere. So I think if you can compete here, I mean, you can compete anywhere in the world, in any league. So I think, yeah, we're doing fine, we're doing okay, we're doing our best. We came here to compete and we're doing very well. Yeah, no expectations, we just need to fight for the 3 points. If we get the 3 points, we have high possibilities to qualify for the next round. So yeah, I think the mentality is just to get the 3 points, nothing more, nothing less.
Lionel Messi has asked for humanity after his family released a statement revealing that his father is undergoing medical treatment for an undisclosed illness while his son competes at the tournament. Questions about Messi Sr.'s health grew louder after Argentina's opening win of Algeria. That's where his son revealed after his man of the match performance that he was playing while going through a difficult personal situation. The family statement also came out on the same day that reports of Jorge Messi's death circulated in Argentine media. On the pitch, the 4 games at the tournament over the next 24 hours will see Scotland up against Morocco, Brazil take on Haiti, Turkey are up in action against Panama, while co-host the USA take on Australia. Mauricio Pochettino has provided this rundown of their opponents.
They are very, very compact. They are very aggressive. They have a great organization. You can see that it was difficult for Turkey to create chances, clear chances. And then in the moment that they recover the ball, they have arrows in front that they transit so quick, so fast. But for me, it's their mentality.
And Iran planned to lodge a formal complaint with FIFA regarding the restrictions imposed by the organizers on the team at the World Cup. This comes after they were told they will only be permitted to arrive in Los Angeles 24 hours before Sunday's game against Belgium. The federation says such restrictions are inconsistent with the principle of providing equal conditions for all participating teams and may negatively affect their preparation processes. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
The final whistle hasn't blown on big savings yet. The Checkers XXL Savings Championship continues with new deals every week, like Lancewood Cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $129.99, save 40 Rand. And Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams, any 2 for 219 Rand, save 71 Rand. Valid until 21 June, only at Checkers.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We still have delays out in Bryanston. Maybe getting worse, maybe easing slightly. Let's find out. Karabo Charlie again.
Yeah, we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic. John, this is in the Bryanston area heading towards Four Ways, N1 South between the Patrol Interchange and Winnie Mandela Drive, Rivonia. You can also expect some delays on Rivonia Road from 12th Avenue all the way to the N1. Four Ways, traffic sluggish. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Leslie and Broad Acres. Alexandra heading towards Germiston, traffic congested. N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to the Patrol Interchange, and you can expect also slow moving traffic in the Bursley Kempton Park area on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 50 was, as per my last email, too passive-aggressive. Oh, the torture. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Just a quick thought on the last item then, Tolakele's sports bulletin. I think it's incredibly unfair, these very specific conditions being imposed on Iran. They've accepted they're taking part in the tournament. The FIFA president said that they will be there. Now, they've got this rule that they can only be at a game 24 hours before the game is actually played. I think it's appalling, and I think it's absolutely spineless of FIFA that they haven't been behind closed doors, engaged with the United States government and said, look, let's just do this quietly. Nobody needs to get shown up or embarrassed or slapped over the wrist. Just treat all the 48 teams properly and fairly. That is, as I understand it, what the World Cup is about. And crucially, that's what hosting countries signed up to do when they agreed to become hosts. Very, very shoddy. 10 minutes to 5.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
Yeah, so Randall's One Song today focuses on the one hand on a quite extraordinary career and legacy, and on the other, a very sad moment for South African music, the passing of Abdullah Ibrahim. And Randall's with us to talk about all of those aspects, what there is to celebrate, and the loss, obviously, of which we need to take stock. Randall, very good afternoon to you. First thoughts when you heard the news?
Well, John, Abdullah lived a very, very full life. Obviously, he was exiled. He had started playing music, with other South African greats, Skippy Muketsi amongst them. He then, left the country, changed across to the Muslim faith, and really, made an indelible mark while out of the country, then returned to the country. And even though it's such a long and illustrious career in life, he lived until he was 91, it is still a really, really sad loss because, his impact has been felt across decades, and I know it will be felt for many, many decades to come.
Yeah, and I believe you've been chatting to somebody who was very closely involved with Abdullah Ibrahim on the return. We'll hear that in a moment, but just give us background.
Yes, a very good friend of mine, Mark Rosen, was his lawyer at the time of his return to the country. Mark's also a jazz fanatic. And I thought, we might just have a listen to one or two of the interactions that he had with Abdullah, memorable ones. And then I'll tell you my story, my most memorable story as well.
Let's hear Mark Rosen, who for many years acted as Abdullah Ibrahim's lawyer.
There's so many stories about Abdullah. Some of them are funny, some are pretty serious, and then there are just the extraordinary ones. I remember when Abdullah first came back to South Africa after being in exile for so long. He played the very first concert after the end of the cultural boycott, and it was the opening of a festival at the Wits Great Hall. It took some time to do the contract, and we weren't even sure he would be able to get through immigration at the airport, but he got through and time came to play, and he arrived at the concert hall. And he said to me, Mark, there are going to be no photographs of me at this concert. And I said, Abdullah, you haven't played in South Africa in decades. The media are all waiting to take a picture or a television clip of you to show the world about your return. And he said he wasn't going to have it. But after some persuasion, he agreed, and he said, on one condition, they can only take pictures for 2 minutes. So I went out, spoke to the media, told them there was a 2-minute limit. It wasn't the best thing they'd heard, but they agreed. And then the one guy said, can you ask him what he's going to be playing tonight? So when I went back, I said, Abdullah, have you got any sense of the set list you're going to play? And he wasn't happy about that. And he said, I'm not playing songs. I'm going to do one improvisation, and that's it. And that's exactly what he did. He came out for his first show after decades in exile, sat down at the piano, and played a 45-minute, fairly conceptual and abstract jazz piece, which I think left most of the audience completely floundering. And that was Abdullah. You could get the hits one night and something completely conceptual the next. A joyful man tonight and an uptight and angry one tomorrow. But his passing leaves a big hole, and we will miss him and his playing immensely.
Yeah, Randall, fascinating from Mark Rosen. I have attended concerts of both kinds that he described, but your memory?
My memory is also him, his first interview at a Cape Town radio station, I believe, after returning from exile. I was in the studio. I was obviously very, very happy to meet him. And I can't remember the question from the interviewer, but he said, I have no interest in how many languages someone speaks. I have an interest in what they have to say. And that is stuck with me, as I say, it's more than 30 years now. That is stuck with me for a very, very long time, in that one should not consider the superficial. One should really listen intently. And as I say, my memory, one would imagine, would be a musical one, but it's more about the man and his philosophy.
Well, we're going to listen intently because you've chosen out of a vast catalogue a particular piece of music. What are we going to hear?
So we're going to hear The Wedding, a piece of music that, along with The Mountain of the Night, he returned to on many, many occasions, recording it quite recently with the group Ekaya, but this is a much earlier version of much earlier iteration of that group. Ekaya, the members changed over the course of 2 decades. So this is from the 80s and The Wedding with Ekaya.
Thanks so much, Randall Abrams. Reflections on the life and music of Abdullah Ibrahim, The Wedding. Abdullah Ibrahim, The Wedding, off the album African River, on saxophone, someone he collaborated with, and wonderfully well too, as you can hear, Horace Alexander Young. I had the privilege of seeing them play together in the Joburg City Hall. 702 Drive.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabota, 1 to 3 p.m.
How challenging is it to be a KZN R&B artist, considering KZN is quite big with certain genres, and other genres musicians will be like, I need to move to Gauteng?
I think, it comes with its challenges, but I must say, like, the people from my home city really do support me. Although I haven't been booked out there yet, I haven't performed a show there yet. But
how KZN?
And I'm from Durban, like it's crazy. But it's gonna happen soon,
It's
I
coming,
know. It's coming. Yes, we're manifesting.
Contemporary R&B singer, songwriter, Nanette.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
It's Powerball jackpot time. This Friday, you have a chance to win over 160 million rand in total Powerball estimated jackpot. That is life-changing money that could be yours instantly. Catch the live draw tonight at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC, and you could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizek Kaya.
Doing your famous through meetings, in traffic, at the store. Don't let seasonal hay fever get in the way of a better you. Unite against allergies with Demazin once a day, providing 24-hour non-sedating relief from symptoms like a runny nose, sneezing, and itchy red eyes. Demazin gets it done. Speak to your pharmacist today about Demazin once a day.
It's time to get revved up. The Motor Select Rev Up sale is on, and we've got thousands of quality pre-owned vehicles at unbeatable prices. That's everything from city cars to 4x4s. Offer ends 30 June, so get to motorselect.co.za now.
A tectonic shift in world rugby is coming. 12 nations, 2 groups, 1 defining rivalry. And in the biggest game of the year, England comes to Ellis Park to take on the mighty Springboks on July 4th. Expect fireworks as the Red Roses travel to the Highveld. The Nations Championship is where hemispheres collide. Get your tickets now, only from Ticketmaster.
This is EWN.
Ramaphosa says stability is necessary to ensure the economy grows, and some voting stations still inaccessible in storm-ravaged Western Cape. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. President Cyril Ramaphosa says a stable currency and financial system aided by an independent central bank is the foundation on which South Africa's economy will grow. Ramaphosa attended the launch of the revamped South African Reserve Bank Museum at the institution's head office campus in Pretoria today. The president says the integrity of the Reserve Bank must be defended.
This independence is a safeguard for the people. It ensures that our monetary affairs are managed with discipline and credibility. The high regard in which the institution is held is the result of the work of so many dedicated men and women.
At least 5 voting stations in the Western Cape remain inaccessible after recent severe weather cut off several communities across the province. This comes ahead of the Electoral Commission's first voter registration weekend, ahead of the November 4th local government elections. The IEC outlined its readiness for the registration drive during a briefing in Cape Town today. More than 3.3 million people are currently registered to vote in the Western Cape. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Severe weather and flooding have caused widespread damage in the Western Cape, with losses estimated at nearly 9 billion rand. The storms have also left several communities isolated. IEC Provincial Manager Belinda Mbeleni says some voting stations in the West Coast and Karoo regions have been affected.
We have identified 5 that we are monitoring. One is in the Cedarburg municipality, one in Canaland, and there are 3 in the Beaufort West municipality.
Despite the challenges, voting stations across the province will be open tomorrow and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eligible citizens can register to vote or update their registration details. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Lawyers for two top crime intelligence officers have described a so-called failed arrest operation by the investigating Directorate Against Corruption as deplorable. Yesterday, Crime Intelligence Head Dumsani Khumalo and Intelligence Analysis Chief Nozipho Madondo were at the center of the controversy. Khumalo and Madondo say IDEC officials told them that arrest warrants had been issued for them and ordered them to surrender at the Brooklyn police station. The generals arrived with their legal representation, but they say the IDEC officials failed to show. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi reports.
Khumalo's legal team argue that IDEC has shown disregard for constitutional principles and is using prosecutorial powers to settle political scores. Their statement highlights Section 179 of the Constitution, which requires prosecutorial independence without fear, favor, or prejudice. The lawyers claim IDEC's actions have already caused reputational damage, emotional trauma, and professional prejudice, effectively condemning their clients on the court of public opinion before any trial. They further warned that IDEC's pursuit of high-profile cases for publicity risks undermining public confidence in the justice system. They've also called on the National Director of Public Prosecutions to intervene, review IDEC's conduct, and ensure that prosecutorial decisions are made fairly and independently. KZN Police Chief Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi also appeared at the station, alleging he too was meant to be handcuffed in what he calls a preemptive move after claims the generals wanted to arrest IDEC officials. Or see Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
And security has been tightened at the Niger airport following a deadly attack on the site. According to reports, gunmen opened fire near the airport entrance's security checkpoint, leaving 2 civilians dead, and it wounded at least 11 soldiers. The Defense Ministry says the attackers had been dispersed into surrounding neighborhoods where residents helped security forces to track them down. AFP is reporting that around 20 suspects have been arrested. Flights have now resumed normally. Gold is trading at $4,157.97 an ounce. The rand is at 16.47 to the dollar, 21.78 to the pound, 18.88 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.90 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading towards Germiston leaving Alexandra, you can expect about a 20-minute delay. N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to the Between interchange. Four-ways traffic remains sluggish. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Leslie and Broad Acres Drive. Eldorado Park, heavy delays. On the N12 westbound, this is between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road.
In your sport, Debo Mogwena's penalty keeps Bafana's World Cup hopes alive. Arsenal to start their Premier League title defence against promoted Coventry. And the Bulls hope 4th time's a charm in the United Rugby Championship final.
A partly cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 5 degrees, peaking at 16. Pretoria 10 and 18, and Vereeniging 5 and 16 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa says a stable currency and financial system aided by an independent central bank is the foundation on which South Africa's economy will grow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD. 7:02 Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 5. We are delighted to have you with us for the last part of the show. Coming up towards the end, we'll do what we do every week. We call it a song, a book, and a dish. In our company today is the head of the Border Management Authority. Now, I'm sure you would have regularly, actually, over the last few months, heard the name of Dr. Mike Masiapato, and he's head of this all-important agency, very much front and center in the news with a massive drugs bust up at the Beitbridge border post, but regularly speaking about issues around securing South Africa's borders. Who is the man behind this very taxing job? We'll talk to him a little bit later on 702 Drive. That's at 20 to 6. He's picked a song, he's got a book that's inspired him, and we're going to chat about food. Looking forward to that very much indeed. Looking up at my screens, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is underway. This is, I feel, a crucial session. It deals with the theft of drugs, a huge amount of cocaine stolen from the port, one of the Port Shepstone police offices, not a police station, but the Hawks office down in that southern KZN town. And answering questions and offering answers is the KZN head of the Hawks, Lieutenant General Lisicha Sinona. It's going to go on for a while. I'm sure they won't be done today. They look to be settling in for a long session on this Friday. Khomotso Modise keeping an eye on things. She's with us shortly with an update. Some of you asked whether assistant coaches can step into the technical area and inspire and prompt and yell at their players. Not yell, I don't mean as in a form of anger, but try and get instructions across in a very noisy stadium. We'll get some clues on that as well in response to your questions. It's 10 past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Oh, yes, Dr. John. Yes, assistant coach is also allowed to stand on the touchline, a technical area to give instruction. Is also coach, is allowed. And for the tallest player, another one is Lungisan Ndlela. Lungisan Ndlela, yeah. Thank you, MC. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for that. I had a look at the IAB rules. That's the body that covers that particular part of football. And they were very clear. Yes, any coach can be in that technical area. What they made very clear, though, is only one at a time. In other words, you can't fill the area. Only one coach, member of the coaching staff. It can be the coach, it can be the assistant. Obviously, when a player comes in for final instructions in terms of a substitution, that is also allowed, but you cannot pack it with coaches, just the one. So there's an answer. Thank you. I'd never thought about that. I appreciate the question. 11 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
Let's focus our attention now on problems in Birchley. This is where Karabo Charlie comes in and puts us all right. Good afternoon.
Yeah, that's in the Kempton Park area. Slow-moving traffic in Birchley. This is on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein. Bryanston travelling towards four-ways bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 southbound from the Bethlehem Interchange to Winnie Mandela Drive. Rivonia, you can still expect some delays on Rivonia Road between 12th Avenue and the N1 four-ways. Traffic crawling on Winnie Mandela Drive between Leslie and Broad Acres Drive, while in Eldorado Park, traffic heavily backed up heading towards Protea Glen. That's on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. And finally, in Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic remains sluggish on Eskiamphahlele from Van der Hof all the way to the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
South Africa, your vote starts with registration.
Register to vote.
This Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June. Make sure you're registered to vote or check that your voter registration details are up to date.
Register where they ordinarily reside.
Whether you're registering for the first time or confirming your voting status, visit elections.org.za for everything you need to know. And stay informed with 702, Cape Talk, and EWN for the latest updates, analysis, and developments throughout the registration weekend. Register, check, be counted.
The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday 26 July. Babize Bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 15-kilometer Mandela Bridge route takes you from Ellis Park through town up to and through the Constitution Hill precinct, down to Braamfontein and over Mandela Bridge. Then it's through Newtown and past the Market Theatre and back to Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 15K, 8-kilometer or 5-kilometer walk, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Hope to see you there.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Sure, they aced it. The Championships Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi Advantage is back at Amex Tennistown Monte Casino between 11 and 12 July 2026. Enjoy VIP hospitality, the ultimate big screen experience, a kids fun zone, and so much more. Buy your tickets now on Howler and get 50% off on limited tickets when you use your Amex card. Tennis is better with Amex. American Express Cards is operated under license in South Africa by Nedbank, a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park Stadium this year. Lions fans, get ready. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership package to watch the Springboks versus England and the All Blacks. Or from just 950 Rand, get your Lions-only package and unlock access to every Lions match at Ellis Park. All packages include the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Memberships are available now at Ticket Pro or through our stadium ticket office. Visit lionsrugby.co.za for package options. Own the season and get behind your team.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 5:15. Very, very important day, I think, at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, as KZN Hawkshead General Lisicha Sinona is engaging with the Commission. At issue is the theft of, I think it was 541 kilograms of cocaine from a Hawks office down in the southern KZN coastal town of Port Shepstone. General Sinona has been there before. Between that first appearance and now, there have been other witnesses who have presented him and raised questions about his conduct. So there he is. He is at the moment not answering questions because there's an engagement between the Commission and his counsel, Advocate Dali Mpofu. But let's get some sense of what's happened today so far, and welcome to the show, EWN reporter Khumotso Modise. Khumotso, we'll get to some of the contestation around procedure in a moment, but what are the key things that have been put to Lieutenant General Sinona, and how has he responded?
Good afternoon, Dr. John. Well, the testimony of General Lisicha Sinona today has really been around that theft, the theft of over 500 kilograms of cocaine from the Port Shepstone Hawks office. It's a theme that the Commission has been exploring over the last few weeks, and he's the man that seems to be at the center of it all, mainly because several witnesses, including a senior Hawks official this week, that is General Nyuswa, has testified about how the keys to that strong room were mostly with General Sinona. And whenever they were taken from General Sinona and used by someone else, eventually be returned to him. And so he's been placed as the man at the center of this cocaine theft. And so the testimony today and the questions that have been posed to him really have been around the access to that strong room, the security measures that he took to beef up the security of that strong room, mainly because that isn't a storage facility that was used or would ordinarily be used for the storage of drugs and such, a large consignment of cocaine that had been, confiscated during a bust. So those are the questions that he's been taking. But what I find to be really interesting, and it's the question that we've all been waiting for him to answer, is answering to the narrative that's been presented before the Commission that the entire break into the strong room may have been staged. And today, Sinona has said that narrative is insane. He says he cannot see the logic of how it could have been staged, because you may remember, John, that at the heart of this allegation is that the person who broke in must have had the keys. And that points back to General Sonona, the person who had primary access to the keys. He says that he finds that rather offensive. And the commissioners have really asked him to explain why, and also to explain why he would take offense, because from time to time the keys may have been with other people. But he says that it's clear that this is all pointing back to him because he was, quote unquote, the custodian of those keys, and he kept the keys to the strong room. So that's what he's been testifying about today. And I think that's really at the heart of his testimony today at the Madlanga Commission.
So, Khumotso, one of the things that has come up in earlier engagements with other witnesses has been the process by which the decision was made to put those drugs in a facility manifestly unfit for housing something as valuable as this, but so obviously crucial should there be criminal prosecutions. And time again, people have said, well, he played a big part in making that decision. Is he denying that, or does he accept responsibility for the processes that led to the drugs being taken to Port Shepstone in the first place?
Well, it seems that he's defending the decision, even though we know that the suggestion had been made by Newswa, who is also a senior Hawks official.
Right.
On Wednesday this week, Newswa confirmed to the commission that it was his suggestion, even though the decision ultimately was made by Sonona. And Sonona does say that he believed that that storage facility was sufficiently secured. He said that he'd taken some steps, even though he didn't necessarily beef up security by having more boots on the ground, so to speak, around the facility, but he believed that it had been sufficiently secure. And so this does seem like it's a decision that he's not distancing himself from,
right.
Which is also an interesting theme, John, because the commission has also heard that usually drugs would be stored at police stations, and none of the officers, not Sonona, not Newswa, and none of them had called the local police stations that were usually used as storage facilities to ask if there was room for them to move those drugs to those facilities.
Let's go back a step then, and as I look at the screen, his counsel, who I believe has just been added to the legal team, he certainly wasn't present in previous sessions, Advocate Dali Mpofu, has engaged with the commissioners and with the evidence leader, presumably around either concerns or objections. What is at the heart of what Advocate Mpofu is raising?
Well, when Advocate Dalimpofu was presented this morning as an addition to the legal team of General Sonona, I was really interested to find out what his submissions are about, John, because it was clear that he wasn't asking for a postponement, but he was raising some of the concerns that General Sonona has, basically saying that he feels that the Commission has been treating General Sonona unfairly. And some of the things that he raised was the fact that there were repetitive questions, the fact that Sonona may have to come back to answer more questions because the Commission will still continue to hear testimony on the Port Shepstone drug theft. So he was raising concern with how he's being treated by the Commission, also claiming that there were some documents that he had requested from the Commission that hadn't been given to him, even though he needed them to prepare for his testimony, and saying that it seems that evidence leaders from time to time would be deviating from the terms of reference, deviating from what they ought to ask him about, raising the questions around relevance of the questions that were being asked to General Sonona. However, as I was listening to the testimony of General Sonona today, who's been very cautious, I must mention, John, as he's been answering, it's clear that the move to boost up his legal team is all based in preparation for a possible review of the Commission's findings. In fact, that's something that he said, and the chair, Justice Madlanga, said he was very much aware that clearly they were preparing for some sort of a review process. So what seems to be happening there with Advocate Dalimpofu being added to this team is that they are preparing for an instance where they may need to take the findings of the Commission on review to say that they had flagged and raised some of the issues that they had in how Sonona was being asked to answer questions.
In the past, Khumotso, when a counsel, and I'm not referring to the specific advocate or the specific witness, has raised questions saying, we never got certain documents, I've always seen the evidence leaders as coming back quite strongly and saying that, no, in fact, we did give you these and these documents, and here's the evidence for that. Was there any comeback, or did the evidence leaders concede that, in fact, there had been omissions?
John, there was immediately a comeback from Advocate Sello, who is the evidence leader today that's been cross-examining General Sinona. She says that all the requests that they had received, they had answered. And I think what's also interesting about how that issue was raised by Advocate Dalimpofu is that he feels that the response sometimes had been lax from the evidence leaders. The reasons that they'd given for whatever they could not do were very, very lax and relaxed, really showing no real care for what the witness was asking for. But the evidence leaders today came back very strongly to say all the requests that we have received, we have responded to, and what we could hand over to you, we have.
Thank you so much, Khumotso Modise, EWN report. I mean, what I like about this process is, in the end, I think most of these arguments of fact are settled by something demonstrable. In other words, if I say, as the evidence leader or part of the backroom team of an evidence leader, that I sent you these and these documents, there will be a record, an email record. These systems are generally very reliable, and equally, if you say to the team representing Lieutenant General Sinona that you sent stuff, it can equally be demonstrated that you didn't. So I would hope the Commission settles this stuff early on, because it does become quite niggly, this insistence that there's been unfair treatment. I think the record needs to be interrogated, and once the record has been interrogated and facts established, then the new and clarified situation ought to be put on the record, which I am pretty confident it will. 25 minutes past 5.
South Africa, your vote starts with registration.
Register to vote.
This Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June. Make sure you're registered to vote, or check that your voter registration details are up to date.
To register where they ordinarily reside.
Whether you're registering for the first time or confirming your voting status, visit elections.org.za for everything you need to know. And stay informed with 702, Cape Talk, and EWN for the latest updates, analysis, and developments throughout the registration weekend. Register, check, be counted.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the exciting growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner invested in the future of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be a part of a movement helping to build a stronger, safer, and more vibrant Jozi for generations to come. Register today and take part in the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg, you know?
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this boat.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie. Bamise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. The end of the week's trading and the money show tonight. What have you got for us?
Good afternoon, John. I don't know if everyone was just irritated with the yellow cards last night or something, but the JSE is ending the day down over 2% at 112,611 points. The real story is in resources. So gold and platinum prices down, and I think people just taking the opportunity to offload gold and platinum shares, and that's pushed the JSE down. Financials are up 1%. The industrials flat, really, up 0.04, but resources are down 8.37% on the day. So, for example, you see that Goldfields are down over 13%. Anglo Gold's down nearly 10%. Implat's down nearly 9.5%. Valterra down nearly 9%. And this is across the board, but really gold and platinum miners just down significantly today. We'll talk more about this, of course, on the Money Show this evening. And I think it's also just concerns about where gold is going to go. You know, John, the other night we were talking on the Money Show, we were thinking aloud, could we actually, with the end of the war in Iran, if that's what happens, see oil prices go to sort of $70, $65 and gold go above $5,000? Now we have to consider, could gold fall below $4,000? Alpha Min is up nearly 11%, Data Tech's up nearly 6%, and then Sasol having an astonishing day. They're up 5%. I think people just having a sort of another look at that share. Tungela is up 4.41 as well. And then some of the consumer shares, so Aspen in the pharmaceutical space, Dis-Chem as well, both up by around 4%. Clicks up nearly 3% on the day as well. In the US, markets closed for the Juneteenth public holiday, but markets around the world generally down slightly. Just a bit of concern about whether the peace deal around Iran will hold after J.D. Vance cancelled his trip to Switzerland to sign it. They're still talking, we understand. The gold price, $4,149.83 an ounce. Platinum, $1,660. Brent crude, just above $80, $80.04 a barrel. The rand to the dollar taking some pain as well. 16.45 to the euro, 18.88 to the British pound, 21.77. On the Money Show tonight, we'll talk about all of that. We will talk about a possible massive change in AI that could suggest that all of these stock valuations we've seen in the US are overvalued because you'll be using AI chips on your PC rather than a data center. We'll talk also about the latest divisions in the Public Investment Corporation. Is an astonishing story. And then how younger people are buying property. Also on the Money Show. Don't forget the Friday Biz Blitz as well. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Let's catch up now with the very latest eyewitness news with Mpali Dlamini. Still to come on 702 Drive. A song and a book and a dish, but news first.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The National Prosecuting Authority says it remains confident of its case against senior police ballistics expert Lawrence Mahotlwe. Mahotlwe was released on 15,000 rand bail by the Pretoria Magistrates Court today after spending almost a month in custody. The senior forensics officer is accused of deliberately tampering with ballistics evidence in 2 high-profile cases, including the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. NPA spokesperson Lumka Mahanjana says despite Mahotlwe's release on bail, the state believes it has strong chances of securing a successful prosecution.
As I've indicated before, investigations are continuing in this case. If there are any other persons of interest in this case, those people will be joined to this case. Those people will be arrested. But for now, there's only one accused appearing in relation to this case. Like I said, investigations are ongoing. If there's a need for additional charges, those charges will be added.
The Electoral Commission in the Western Cape says it's all systems go for this weekend's first voter registration drive. The drive comes as the country prepares for the local government elections on November the 4th. From tomorrow until Sunday, eligible South Africans will be able to register to vote or update their registration details. The IEC says more than 3.3 million voters are currently registered in the Western Cape. Ntutu Zelonene reports.
There were concerns that last month's deadly storms storms in the Western Cape could affect the voter registration weekend, particularly in areas where infrastructure and electricity networks were damaged. However, Western Cape Provincial Electoral Officer Michael Hendrickse says the IEC has been working closely with disaster management teams to ensure voting stations remain operational.
Recently, I also had a meeting with ESCOM with regard to them restoring power. As you know, there was a lot of areas within the province that were cut off, and they also assured us that they are working in terms of restoring those particular power lines.
The IEC says more than 1,600 voting stations will be open across the province tomorrow and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Dutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And in Tokyo, an investigation is underway into the cause of a fire which broke out at an elementary school. 10 people, including children, were injured in the blaze this morning. All learners and staff were evacuated and the blaze was extinguished after around 3 hours of work. Officials say most of the 10 injured today suffered from smoke inhalation. One witness told local media how children escaped out of windows to a concrete ledge below before fire crews brought them to safety using ladders. A partly cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 10 degrees and highs of between 16 and 18.
Centurion, there's an accident scene on Weird Road. This is at the R55, causing about a 20-minute delay all the way from Saxby. In four ways, traffic remains sluggish. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Leslie and Broad Acres Drive, Eldorado Park, heading towards Proteas Lane. Heavy delays on the N12 westbound from the Golden Highway to Klipspruit Valley Road.
The top story in EWN, the National Prosecuting Authority says it remains confident of its case against senior police ballistics expert Lawrence Mahotlwe.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Shibile leadership, they trying to protect whoever the kingpin of the big five by trying to arrest Mkwanazi and Kumalo, and they're not going to win that one.
But also, how delusional are they? Do they really think that South Africans are just going to stand back as they go after the people who seemingly have revealed so much about the rot in the SAPS? And listen, I'm not suggesting that Mkwanazi or Dumisani Kumalo are angels, but on the balance of probabilities, we are dealing here with two people. The first group has revealed so much, which has led us to this point. And we've got another team now that's trying to target the very same people who have exposed the rot in the law enforcement agencies.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
This July experienced a world premiere unlike anything Johannesburg has seen before. The Bacchae, an African choral ballet, is a first-of-its-kind collaboration between Joburg Ballet, UJ Arts and Culture, the acclaimed University of Johannesburg Choir, and a live chamber orchestra from the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra. A bold reimagining of Euripides' timeless classic, this spectacular production fuses ballet, African choral music, and live orchestral performance into one unforgettable theatrical event.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
On the Midday Report, every day from 12 to 1 p.m, we will bring you breaking news from the scene as it unfolds with newsmakers, reporters, commentators, experts and analysts. We'll explain the stories of the day, give you context for why they are important and what they mean for you. It is everything you need to know in 1 hour, from news to global events, business, sports, science, books, and always some good news too. Appointment listening, every day at 12 with the Midday Report.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
That's Liesel, before she got naked. Liesel checked her insurance premium and got angrier than the time a teenager called her Tani. So Liesel got naked and got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds, all on the Naked app. There we go, Liesel. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Mavis, I wonder if I should sell my car. I'm not sure where to go.
Wanna sell your car, but don't know what to do. You don't have to go far, we come to you. If you're rolling under 1.5 or a Lekker 2.2, doesn't matter what you drive, we buy cars once you.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
EWN Sport.
EWN Sport is brought to you by Checkers. The final whistle hasn't blown on big savings yet. The Checkers XXL Savings Championship continues with new deals every week, only at Checkers. Tolakele Mganga, we've got big rugby tonight. We've got World Cup football over the weekend. There's a London Marathon. There's all sorts of stuff breaking into the news. Share it all with us, please.
Thanks so much, John. And the focus for South Africa turns to their clash against South Korea, where they must win to advance to the knockout rounds at the FIFA World Cup. Bafana kept their hopes of a knockout berth alive with a 1-1 draw with Czechia last night, as Debo Mokoena scored the equalizer from the penalty spot. And with so much riding on that game, Hugo Bruch has discussed what they can expect against their Asian opponents.
They're always very disciplined, and you see that also in the game they played against Czechia. There are also good players, a few key players in the team, so again it will be a tough game in another way. Today it was a tough game because of the physical of Czechia. Against South Korea it will be more the discipline in the group. Also the physical power, but they run. It's like Duracell. You plug them in and then they start running. And they run 90 minutes, so it will be not easy.
4 games are scheduled at the World Cup today as the Global Showpiece event marks its 7th day of action. One of those encounters will see Scotland up against 2022 semi-finalist Morocco, and Steve Clark has shared the challenge of trying to cause an upset.
Morocco reached the last 4 of the previous World Cup in Qatar. I think this Moroccan side is every bit as good, if not better, and can certainly go on to become better. So they'll have aspirations to be certainly in the last 4 again. So it's a big challenge for us against Morocco, and that's the only game that's in front of us just now, so we give them a lot of respect.
The Bulls will hope that fly half Handré Pollard can bounce back from a poor semi-final performance as they target winning a maiden United Rugby Championship title. They take on Leinster in the final tonight, with Pollard hoping for a better showing than the one he had against the Glasgow Warriors. That's where he slotted in only 3 of his 7 kicks to register a 43% success rate.
We are desperate to get over the line. They are desperate to defend, and they are playing at home in front of their people. So there's a lot of quality players both sides of the pitch, and it's going to be a big emotional part of the game, which is good, and it should be that way. It's a final, and that brings a different kind of intensity. But I think you also got to control that. If it gets out of hand, you're going to make decisions that might bite you later on in the game. So it's going to be very important for us to control our emotions as best as we can, but also get out of it what we can.
And the London Marathon will be staged over 2 days for the first time in its history in 2027, with the elite women racing on Saturday and the men on Sunday. The one-off changes to allow a record 100,000 participants to take part across the weekend, with the 47th edition of the event scheduled for April 24th and 25th. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 12 minutes to 6, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's find out what's happening on the roads then, starting Karabo, I believe, in Centurion. What's up there?
Yeah, there's an accident scene, John. This is on Weirder Road at the R55, and this is causing about a 20-minute delay all the way from Saxby Road in Bursley, Kempton Park. Slow-moving traffic on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein, while in Kleurkop travelling into Tembisa. Traffic sluggish on Enruma Petro Drive between Allendale and Birch Acres Shopping Centre. Krugersdorp, there's also about a 20-minute delay on Beyers Nordia. This is between Peter Road and the N14 in both directions due to an earlier accident. Eldorado Park, traffic remains heavily backed up. N12 westbound from the Golden Highway all the way to Klipspruit Valley Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Seeing the Outsurance points men on your route is like the feeling you get when you find an open parking spot right at the entrance. It just makes you feel good. The Outsurance pointsmen are traffic heroes, easing congestion and helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. in proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The final whistle hasn't blown on big savings yet. The Checkers XXL Savings Championship continues with new deals every week. Like Lancewood Cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for R129.99, save 40 Rand. And Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams, any two for 219 Rand, save 71 Rand. Valid until 21 June, only at Checkers.
This Father's Day weekend, put your driving skills to the test at Hyde Park Corner with the Ferrari Simulator Challenge. Brought to you by Zebra Square Automobile and Pablo Clark Racing. Set your fastest lap, climb the leaderboard, and stand a chance to win incredible prizes, including a Pablo Clark Racing experience worth 20,000 Rand and a 10,000 Rand Hyde Park Corner gift card. Entry is 100 Rand per attempt, and the action takes place at Hyde Park Centre Court from Friday to Sunday. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You feel it long before it hits, the rumble of something big. That's 10Bet, where the stakes rise and every online game hits like lightning. Deposit 50 Rand or more and get the welcome offer package of up to 5,000 Rand. Join now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Mavis, I wonder if I should sell my car. I'm not sure where to go.
Wanna sell your car, but don't know what to do. You don't have to go far, we come to you. If you're rolling on a 1.5 or a Lacquer 2.2, doesn't matter what you drive, we buy cars once you.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
That's Liesel, before she got naked. Liesel checked her insurance premium and got angrier than a time a teenager called her Tani. So Liesel got naked and got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds, all on the Naked app. There we go, Liesel. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
702 Drive. We look forward to it all week. It's a time when we meet someone who's often in the news, who we know some things about, but we don't know nearly enough. And the way we try to find more is we ask them to choose a song that has special meaning for them, a book that's been influential or inspiring. And then, of course, we have to talk about food. Yes, what's on the plate and what's on the table, but also meals shared and what kind of conversations take place around the table. My guest is involved in some of the most important work in the country, I think it's fair to say, at a time when immigration and control of South African borders is front and center as never before. The Border Management Authority is an institution playing a critical role. Add to that their recent place in the news after BMA officials were involved in a massive drug bust on the border with Zimbabwe up at Beit Bridge. Well, Dr. Mike Masiapato certainly has his hands full. We appreciate him making time for us. Dr. Mike, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time on 702 Drive. I'm just looking at everything you've studied and done to equip yourself for the work that you do now. And it really is a rich mix because you've got a doctorate in literature and philosophy. You've got another doctor in philosophy from Wits. You've studied public management. You've studied various courses in the security space. When you were a much younger man, did you know exactly what it was you wanted to do?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, John, and I really appreciate this opportunity. You know, John, when one was young, what I was basically looking forward to was to become some kind of an analyst. So,
Right.
an analyst which had been very much popular during the transition, around 1994. There used to be, individuals that would, in a way, analyze, the politics in the ecosystem, but also project how the democratic state is meant to unfold and all of that. So that is what I was very looking up to when I was growing up.
Okay, so you had those ideas. Let's go back then in time, and you tell us that you grew up in a rural part of Limpopo, Skimini village. Just for people who may not know that place, it's kind of looks like about 30 kilometers southeast of Giyani. Well, how do you think you were shaped, Dr. Masiapato, by being a young man growing up in a very rural place?
Yeah, so John, obviously growing up in the village, Skimini is basically under the general area of Giyani. It's actually southwest.
Southwest,
20
okay.
kilometers southwest, yeah. And it is 70 kilometers east of Tzaneen. So that's basically where one actually grew up. And of course, I mean, in the growing up, at the time, obviously one was in high school, from 1990 until 1994. So we basically grew up at that time when there was a lot of discussion, in the country relating to the transition, obviously the bringing in or the bringing out of people like the former President Mandela out of prison. And out of that, the discussions about how are we supposed to be shaping the future, of the country, which is to be adopted as a democratic state, and all of those kind of issues. So for me, I grew up with that context of a young man who is supposed to contribute in a democratic state. That was basically been unfolding in front of us as high school young boys.
So speaking of discussions, let's go around the dinner table. Your dad, a construction worker specializing in steel construction. He was involved in Medupe, your dad Matume, and your mom Masilailo. What kind of, first of all, I mean, did all the siblings, were you expected to be home and have meals together? And if so, we'll talk about what you ate in a moment, but what kind of conversations were part of the meal time?
Yeah, maybe just to indicate, John, as the case with most of the people that grew up in deep rural areas, the parents, particularly the father, was mainly not present. As you will understand, being in Gauteng, obviously working for some construction enterprises around. So obviously we grew up, being raised by the mother, and that was the person that was fairly full time in our environment. So as I've indicated, the kind of I would say conversations that we were fairly looking at with my siblings, as indicated there, we are 5 at home, and I'm the first one. So I had to drive most of the conversations, in dinner tables. But the key issue, which was my main interest, was about this future, country that we are meant to build, the excitement actually that came with it. And of course, understanding the historical posture of what, we just, in a way, came out of in terms of the democratic state, as it were. And of course, when we then get towards your matric, that is where we got highly influenced by our teachers in terms of our contribution that we need to be making in the ecosystem. And that is one of the reasons why I also got influenced to study public administration, which was inclusive of issues of local government, understanding how do we come out of a village, to serve South Africa and make sure that we drive issues of service delivery. So those are the kind of conversations that really occupied our dinner table at the time.
So we asked you for a dish choice. Now you said pap and hard body chicken. Now I've enjoyed hard body chicken visiting a friend of mine who lives in the Thohoyandou area. I've had it a few times, but when I try to explain to people what is different about hard body chicken compared to something we might pick up in a supermarket, explain it for us. Firstly, in what way it's different, but most importantly, why does it taste so unbelievably good?
Yeah, you see, John, that is one of the most, interesting thing, fairly to observe. And I can tell you now, the way in which my mother would really prepare a hard body until this day, it is always very special. I have eaten some that are prepared, out there on the streets. But still, when I have to go home, I always, engage her and make sure that she prepares it in the way that she has been preparing it. But what makes it special for me is the organic, natural nature, that comes with hard body. And on that basis, it actually presents the natural posture that I suppose comes with the chicken itself, and the way in which the mother will really prepare it. It gives that taste that has some kind of your organic natural posture. Now, if you were to do comparative analysis with these ones that you buy in normal shops and all of that,
right?
I don't know the actual complexity about them, but I think they are kind of modified genetically. I'm told sometimes they get injected with things to grow fast and all of that, and they are even sometimes a bit too softer and all of that. But with hard body, you get everything natural. And for me, the taste, the smell, and the everything is what literally takes me back to the years when one was growing up.
So, Dr. Mike, can you replicate your mother's cooking of a hard body chicken, or does it require a trip home and something she's prepared to get back the deliciousness that you know from your childhood?
Yeah, no, John, in terms of cooking, for me, unfortunately, I can't do much. And of course, in this instance, I can do basic things like pap, which is one of the key, I would say, starch that is key in this instance. But for the actual replication of the chicken, I'm not able to. However, I had spoken with my wife to kind of learn the manner in which the mother has been putting it together, and she has been doing that. And up to this point, there is that bit of replication from the wife's side, and definitely I do buy them and make sure that the wife does the preparation.
I want to get to your book, Doc, and ask you this. You indicate that you read mainly academic books. It sounds like your library is focused on very much on purpose and a great deal of seriousness about the choices you make. You refer us to a book that I don't know anything about, Ludwig van Bertalanffy. He was an Austrian, I beg your pardon, biologist who wrote a book called General System Theory, Foundations, Development, Applications. I suspect some of our listeners may have read it or know about it, but the vast majority haven't. For people who haven't read it and may never read it, why is this book so special for you?
You see, John, for me, general systems theory is a very fundamental read. And I do know that sometimes people will literally read other books in other fields, but I just like your academic-based kind of books. It has been developed around the 30s, and ultimately he formalized it in 1968, and he definitely put it together as an academic full book. So it is the genesis of general systems theory. So for me, it's a very special book on the basis that when he developed it, it was in the field of biology. And in the field of biology, he looked at the overall human ecosystem, the interface in terms of a human body, as you can imagine.
Yes.
And the system nature of a human body. What makes the eye to be the eye and ultimately contributes for the sustenance of a human body. What makes an ear to be an ear and makes the sustenance of a human body. And why each of these parts has to actually complement each other, not compete,
yes,
but ultimately ensure that the entire ecosystem of a human body is ultimately operating as a cohesive unit. So he developed it in the field of biology, but a lot of other people start to then take the theory itself and start to replicate it in other areas. So my area of interest is in the field of social sciences, where you are able to understand the complex nature of the entire environment where we operate, and how each and every aspect and each and every part is supposed to do their part or to do its part,
right,
to complement the entire environment.
So, Dr. Mike, let's finally go to your song. I don't know if you're a good singer or a great dancer, you can tell us, but you've chosen this one by Master KG, Wire Wire. I'm sure you've heard lots of songs, but you picked this one. Tell us why.
Yeah, no, indeed, John. You see, Master KG, for me, Wire Wire is a very special piece. And unfortunately, I can't do much dancing, and neither can I do much of singing. But for me, what is critical is just the lyrics and the fact that it transcends, cultures. It goes beyond just South African borders. It has been into the continent, but also globally. And I think you will remember one of his big songs that he did some time back, which was actually played globally. So for me, that is the essence. But the message also is very critical to say this life sometimes can be very powerful to the extent that you can imagine us having to live forever. And that for me is very much interesting. But otherwise, the lyrics and the element of the dancing that goes with it is what excites me.
Well, thank you so much for giving us your time and your song, your book and your dish, Dr. Mike Masiapato, Commissioner of the Border Management Authority, joining us on 702 Drive. Let's enjoy his song choice, Wire Wire. Here's Master KG. .702 Drive this week, put together by Jonathan Fairburn and Rifue Litsua. Our technical producer is Karabo Malapile. Whatever you have planned for the weekend, hope it works out. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. T's and C's apply. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, why are the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana and his Deputy David Masondo on, it seems, opposite sides in the latest fight over the PIC? And how come the fund's unlisted investment track record is just so poor? New microchips mean you may not be using a massive data center to access AI. Instead, we'll see the rebirth of the PC and how younger people buy property. It's not about the space, it's location, location, location. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Maki Molapo. We begin with news just in. The NPA's Investigating Directorate Against Corruption has confirmed that it issued a warrant of arrest for crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo. Khumalo was instructed to present himself at the Brooklyn police station yesterday in connection with an investigation he maintains he knows nothing about. However, he was not arrested. IDEC says this is because he forms part of the team responsible for ensuring security arrangements are in place for the upcoming June 30th immigration protest. NPA spokesperson Keza Khanyago says there were indeed plans to arrest Khumalo.
The IDEC received information that the affected officials were part of a justice crime prevention and security cluster team that is assigned to prepare for the national security measures before and on the 30th of June 2026 in relation to immigration issues. In the interest of ensuring synergy and efficiency in the work of the team, IDEC thus decided to suspend the execution of the warrant of arrest until the assignments of the two officers is completed.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says a stable currency and financial system aided by an independent central bank is the foundation on which South Africa's economy grows. Ramaphosa attended the launch of the revamped South African Reserve Bank Museum at the institution's head office campus in Pretoria. The president says the integrity of the Reserve Bank must be defended.
This independence is a safeguard for the people. It ensures that our monetary affairs are managed with discipline and credibility. The high